did a good job of it in terms of theory, right? In theory, where they were playing, it was all fantastic. Then they were going down to these engagements. They weren't always able to win it out very cleanly with a four-man squad going on. With playing edge a lot of times whilst you're holding out and guarding those edge sides is that if you get into an engagement there, you lose it, right? There's not much chance of getting very much further into the game. For other teams that like to leapfrog from edge and then send towards a kind of a middling position between the center of the circle and the outer side of it, you have much more chance to get further into the game and maybe pick yourself some pretty consistent placement points off the back of it. And we had a really good conversation as well yesterday, or even this morning, actually, bloody hell, mixing up my time zones. It's all going so quickly right now. Where we were talking about, you know, look, some of these teams yesterday just came out absolutely swinging, and I think in this format you have to, whereas other teams sort of got in their own heads a bit.
Yeah, that was one of the big focal points we were kind of sort of umming and ahhing over, about how you could see the difference of, let's say, a team like Influence Rage, who came out just playing their style, just absolutely giving it, right? Any opportunity they had to just swing on a fight, play confidently, going into an engagement basically thinking, you know, we've already won this. They're just thinking about the points being in their pocket. You're going to have so much more of a better time of it and going into it giving so much respect to teams, overthinking the situations. And we've seen that change. A lot of our squads from Group Green, it feels like their play styles have kind of flip-flopped more so than anything to what we were seeing during that regular point. This is an interesting one, actually kind of ties into that. You can see here, Reject Tokyo at least getting a bit more confidence to fight and contest for center control. A little bit lucky there in terms of the draw of the circle, but it works out. You've got a compound, you're in a good spot, and they're going to be pleased with this, mate. They'll be chuffed with that blank. Because when they had center control, when they felt comfortable early in a compound, this is where we saw some of the better games from Reject. Because honestly, they're great on defense. Good comms. It just felt like getting there was rough for them. They've been playing a lot of edge, and it hadn't been working out too well. I'd hope that would be a positive change. Bit of a fight potentially developing here as well. You've got the push up the hill. Focus is drawn from NASA towards the backside, but a few bullets whizzing on by. Room for a bit of a scrap here.
Yeah, I think for Enigma Galaxy as well as Nasa, this is a case where potentially Enigma Galaxy will just think about just swinging wide of this, potentially trying to get in underneath towards Painan. I think Enigma Galaxy is a team that is very well known for some of their more smart rotations. A little bit of a scout there from Ralph. He's in very much danger now of taking a knock. Luckily, the vehicle is going at a strong 90 miles per hour. Alter Ego zooming in towards where Reject is playing. Already Octa gets taken down here. They try and take control of one edge, but Reject has penned them in, locks them into one location. Now the nades can start to come through. There's a lot of damage off the back there. In the meantime, Duxan does take down Ralph. We talked about him earlier being very, very low.
Pins pulled on the nades for Alter Ego, looking to see if maybe there's a way they can defend themselves with these bad boys. Problem is they've already taken so much damage. Reject Tokyo setting themselves up,
guys, Zanin ka live doon low game
and readjust what positions they're playing from so they can support each other. There is native play as well. Reject Tokyo will be very good on lining up those double nades. That could be something to come back towards. For now, we'll see what's happening up on the hillside as well. There's been a bit of commotion here. Teams have been making their presence known, and that high ground control is going to be worth its weight in gold. The longer this one goes on, so pressure being applied there, rotation coming in as well. You've got Alliance on the move as they start to make their way over. Dropping the smoke, so they've actually got some cover to work with. And you need it, because Melissa are close by. They're eagle-eyed, eyes like a hawk.
Yeah, for Yudu, this is probably one of the toughest rotates currently happening on around the map, where they're sort of locked in between DX as well as Malice Esports. And DX has a fantastic control of the Something we saw a lot from them yesterday, is identifying some very strong positions on the map, but also being really good at holding them down. Not necessarily always in compounds, just in certain areas of the map where they have that high ground control. They can play around a little bit of hard cover and go from there. Circle moves very hard towards that north side. Now, that is a little bit of grace given towards MB Esports. They can use that to their advantage. You do Alliance, they take a knock in Flax, and a quick heal goes over towards Fatar there. So very, very immediate response from Udo Alliance, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. I think they're just caught on with the worst end of the stick out of the lobby. Probably the only team that's going to suffer in the next minute or so, I would say.
ตัวไล่จุก face cam เห็นมี support แล้วนี่ตอนนี้อาการเลยเทงานเราแล้ว
Malise Esports on this side of the map. Now Kissu does go down. Poser has a nade in hand. We'll send it over towards Nisa, but Malise Esports again just crumbling a lot during these days. Again, Nisa, 5 eliminations found so far. Really good stuff from them. I think this is interesting because it is a lot of these squads that we see a fair few times.
Face cam on
these games swinging. They tend to do well, and I would say that this is a very good and promising mark of the game going forward.
In live
I'd agree with you, man. It feels like actually we're getting into a bit of a groove now, a bit of a stride for some of our teams. So more aggressive early game as well here with the culmination of the 2 groups we have in today's lobby stage. Now, quite sure which
745 IDP and don't vector don't all players then.
Have to try and survive, taking a ton of damage.
Good lay of the land from Link as well. No to look towards the distance. Can see just over the side where his opponent is coming from. They've got an understanding of where exactly he's playing towards. Live low and low. Meanwhile, are crashing down as well. This is Udo Alliance still trying to push over that hill. They've been doing this for quite some time. Blank, maybe it's going to start to work out. Nice connection on Levi. He's dropped and finished off for good. And they're still pushing it.
Yeah, Clutch did a really good job here. I actually like the thought process we saw from Udo Alliance. Unfortunately for them, DX slowed them down on that south side, which is a really cool play from DX. A lot of times, see teams chasing on the situation. In the meantime, Reject desperately trying to hold on towards their central compound. They left it, they moved towards that north side, but they did face off versus phase. But they're currently still in a strong position. Gladiators, for them, this game is very important. They already started things off really well with a forward limit. It would be absolutely strange and a weird circumstance to see Gladiators get the majority of their points done on Sandhog. As we know, they are horrid at this map. This is a map that they do not find a lot of success on, but already they're up to 7 eliminations. With 4 players alive, this is starting to be a really good run for them.
There's an itch in the back of my brain. Reminding me of one of the Sandhog games we saw from Gladiators quite some time ago, Blank.
Offer long man. In do to Sam, no lies with Tamlu to Wang Ma say, Kamia can Nangni point set him from Ula Chanchu in zero to Tony Tani. And Nippon in Zirpa Hemi Pohian Tamta unconfidence level the po abuse bel can be say. The man roll souls to Rabongaya.
They've certainly had their breakfast this morning and they're coming out with some fiber.
From the Maro Junior, Tundin when I do to low some low chip on the mate here. Amaro to stay Sanglama to Chuanin, Capo on TV to Angamo. Ron come back to Mongamani, there was a quarter Siga. Lun Nasalut to Gachuva to the here recover Chow. Zaripo. I'm a singer, Shimjo game out to Kamani, Manchu, Kaman Tiny Massa. A strong day, a lot of cop make a hit lang the order on Chimo. Caladam Chiang to Lava, Cossi Zodo Chotnan, Dum Chotran Chotnan. I'm captured very much slow them down. Fight long I healing I tell Sunday. Oh, no, the remainder now of Duxan. Kill points back to Tum Low, kill points for the Lachuak Silo. Game sound the kind of Zoid them. Game sound is Zoid Atlantic and Zoid over. Because alone and the 70s and share plan and be down to points in Zealand, the support from Tum.
very much feels like back towards my university days.
Chu nia in low support aum zia chu in low support in support nei lo lan tir te kha an mani han confidence boost don em ni chu thiam san om lova kan ti to kha in zir ve vector an nia an ni pon in zir ve ka thei to ban ron chua ve an thei to chuan an ha na te hi kan hriat thiam puya I an teng lo na lai poi lo support to na amaro chu improvement an ngai na la ya chuan lo in sil hriat hi thil thal tu ani in sil hriat tu na maro chu tong pok in soi se lang chi hi ti lo hi atha lo in support ram tur ani o achan chu aga soyang khan kes kan tap to lo em me abi kim mi zo hi ti tak tak pe kan tam lo ani tuna la ti tak tak pe kan nei hi chu I support ram mangu apoi mo ani in swal chu nom ta em e ka ve mi lo mai daring za tang nge le guys 745 IDP players ten an dong chan don ani o an mani group a thau khan 745 an dona ti chuan ni zan khan o ni zana wildcard khai lo chang em ka thelo ha wildcard khan live le lo chan chu I wildcard atang lut thai tur kha team som parwan ta ni team som parwan ta a maro chu ati fa tam vet me the qualifying zo la ni wa ni o team ti khan lut ta chu wang chuan in I khan la tur mi an tlem ting tang lut tu ga han khel tir thai lut tu ma se qualify tur khan tam se la tur khan tlem sia khami wang khan an zawai in rual khai turing qualify tir lo kha an ni ta zo ka chu wang chuan an khel lawan qualify vek ta zo ka team po zaina in mua quarter final hian team po rom han ai an tam deuh hlek kha ni o zantin hi tournament khel mai te sen wam mai yo ngai thlang nom bo sia ozun nei pa khai ni ta lom mo o ti to mai a ran lom em tu te khel don zaina kan en don yo en zo lo ka o blesa I group list kan en pa don nia chuan ka soi to kha hey asira hey just sonic ti IG khamin o follow ve thawru I VIP ticket ka giveaway don ni o 10k followers kan nei thei nan
and with a smooth right hook he's wiped them off the face of the battleground. 3 squads remain.
Gladiators currently on the outside edge right now.
Than pay chu ei tur po ha karon pe ka mo VIP ticket don ei tur te po ha kan im pe lo wang ti soi thei mi lo ni
Reject holding on. Good little game for them, but the Gladiators
tuna hian avai hian pool ruk an om o quarter final khel tur hi pool ruk an om ani chuan zan khat play zan khat te pool tin hian match nga thau an khel dona bokina BTR an thi to thau ke an chak ver lan to zik thin le Ola PMGCI jomo India hian to zik na an to zik an azok muang hian hei 745 IDP nia back to back in an khel do na back to back kan ti rual hian Miramar map ni azo hian break a omanga kestar te haute an ha dam ve na turin o te lo chau du emema match azona aning lo char hian an lo chau du emema ya kha wang khan break a omanga match thum nuwa hian an map khel turi Irangal Miramar Irangal sen hokin an khel don ani ngati Miramar an khel zon te mai thai maro chu map lian ber ani wang khan kami kha zo ma sa se chom break an nei thai nan khan kan ti ni okay start break an nei thai na tur khan kan muang hian zaina hian group A le B nan khel don a first day hian quarter final hi road map ni thum o anita naktu zana C le D nan khelanga me pai ang che in sari le linga IDP thau ani don ani ti chuan hei hi quarter final pool A listen ta in mu thei tura kan ngai ta ti hian da tai len mu thei ngem kho ti hian alia alang lian em ti la in phone a sir zong in ken ngai om sia ngai em ti khan in mu lian em khoi zong in du ti zong khan nge ti zong hian asira khatia lan khange hetia alawa alaya lan hi baga nimin tlai kan live in 6k subscribers kan kai chuan karon live rang atia live turin min la du lo nyang 6k subscribers kan lakai lo maya hai subscriber za chi kan mo to lai kan la subscribe lo tlat maya 6k kan la tling phalo tlat maya kan ol ri don ani hi in soi ta si lo wa ka oi tha thai to ro ti zong hian entlang mang group A hian team Exodus hit the spot Wonder of World Sepoy FTW EOS Titans TPC Esports Zohub Esports TGS Brute Force BDLR Esports Team Notch SNM Esports Sunday Gaming Gaddit Abyss Gaming hi slot an thak wala anni hi Abyss Gaming hi nilovin camouflage aron ludona Abyss Gaming slot a hian ti chuanin Team Flick Team 7 Rebel Team Drago Forever Young le EPP Pool A atang khel tur ho team som ni pakhat anni ni va hian kan chianon le dungam vai khat chianon leng Group A hian Exodus hit the spot Wanderer of World Sepoy FTW EOS Titans TPC Esports Zohub Esports TGS Brute Force BDLR Esports Team Notch SNM Esports Sunday Gaming Gaddit Camouflage Team Flick Team 7 Rebel Team Drago Team Drago Forever Young le EPP 10 zaina anron khel don ani pool A tang ti chuan pool B tang hian Suk Fear of God Team Matador Aura Infinity XD XE Dex RHM Esports Team Joltech Gold X Team Wiry Morse Gaming LRF Gaming Tribal Esports 5 Esports Megatron Esports NE Nigma Rising Esports Wizus Nunas Team Momo Chikim Gunners WDB Team Amigos Master of Gaming le Sepoy Elite Pool F lock guys kan unlock kan thla thei jara an ni lo hei heng hi zaina rong khel tur pool A le B an soi tong han information zong hi IG next G official a hian an post vek ani ti chuan hei qualify sa quarter final direct qualify mo invite satang khan ron khel tur te hi hei blaze up te pool D an oma ti chuan RIP Mizo Gaming hi pool E a anom vele thung ani ka phone hi achiang lo mo buai thlak riau ma A B C D E F thì con zone đang gần là ném hắn sẽ team lo ngay cả là follow chú chú rồi cho anh hay cái mà just Sonic thì mình là follow rồi tri cái follower son cái trip price pool distribution te kha khan lo hre toem hei I tu tu chu manager pon lo man an hum ho don ani base manager lo man te ma pakhat na in nuai khat ani nga pani na in singli pathum na in sing khat sanga pali na in sing khat panga na in sanga chuan paruk na tang som paruk na te kha grand final lu zong zong khan sang ni thawan hon dona MVP star player in sanga best IGL in sang thum le most fans in sanga an ho don ani to pen sa qualify don không er top 11 qualify don top 11 team som ni pakhat atangin som an tla don ni chu pool tin atangin ani chuan somruk an tla don ni chu team somruk adikem F thleng an ta EF team somruk an tla don ni chu quarter team an vatam ve Sonic somni pelo turne chun china ka lo soi tong khan wildcard kha alai lu tuka I hantlak tir bi kha an khong ai thla ka ni chu kha wang khan I arwal khai tur lo lo in siam remania tlemin an tam ve de ni chu wang chan tla tur po team somruk lai an tla don ani omzia chu a stage ala hniam awang khan tlemin qualify thei po khan la tam ani achan chu nge ala har do lo ma se hemi zo stage sang zelanga I tlatur hi an tam tul don ani qualify thei za ta tem tul don ani o nge Netflix a jong kam fan lu ngota movie kan en mai do mi BMPS pon ton to insina BMPS price pool turu khop ma
जी हाँ चलेंगे आगे और देखेंगे extremely mind frustrating for these teams to figure out how they want to
la sang ni nai sin cheng sobre pakwaron super sticker roll my thank you for donation amal lom takem qualifying kha to 13 kha makalo ti rap ai ti zong in chu atam theng ber kha ti ra chong qualify se achan chu an khel ha ve mo hei an khoi thla ven chu entry fee khatiang zong song neng khan chance la nei se maro chu ti khan an tla hun an tla huk don thunga atira khan tla tur kha an tam vak lo ni ber chu atam theng ber qualify chau tur khan mo sai sian cheng sobre pakwaron super sticker nun le to thank you for donation ama lom thi nem
they can catch up because the competition is just getting started and ladies and gentlemen here we have the bonus points that will be
bonus point placement point hi vaden ve pakhat na in som ni panga mole gam zia
the blue group
den rebel ve na ki open for all ve last sir ni sponsor da kan mu ni zon tro ai ma thang na brok lu dong ma I tia donation mu wang hian kan account na lun nga lai ngai ngot ange I alut mi alut nga ngot lo ni guys lut nga te chu ni se kan hong ve thai thi na nga alut nga lo wa I YouTube hian 30% an la le nga la ma
you secure your spot for that grand finale for that amazing position in
BMPS wang khel mega ithil min en pui chu ho aram hoi film en angu ril khomo smeka hi himia hian kala subscribe lo tlekin ka ria ka account set ta ka wang khan
but now we're going to have a look at the
ril kan ta do mi dila erong
we saw Gladiators yesterday kind of an underwhelming performance from what the people expected from them
I mean I'm not shocked to be frank because Gladiator is
smeka hi kan me do mi
things in the beginning and once
BMPS alom tu tunga khel hi kala khelo ra BMPS kala en lo man lo
at the
wa
same time we have megastars also who
Sirin in the Hall of Fame zaina khan chante KT le keral te o he ta hian ka thei hil chu zainan live na tur kha
they're at the bottom and as you mentioned that
IG a hian an update lowing ka ria chante KT hian
be a tough day for great
group A ron live dona
to bring themselves back into the
chuan
fighting position but
keral te
we have Big Brothers
no,
Team
sin chola.
Soul Team Empire
keral te hian group B ron live don thung ani
entity and of course Metal Wings from this group I think the heavy hitters yesterday were Team Soul
keral te group B live anga chante KT pool A ron live vele thung don ani chuan zan khata hian pool hi zelin an khelanga match nga zel an khel don
was the key for them yesterday so let's see whether they'll be able to build up the same one today but at the same time Hydra was the shockers for me because they hold the top of the table when it
Chua
actually overall standing
Ramhoi
right
is
now.
needed.
First
Ramhoi
position
flip
is
and
gonna
hun lo
be
eh
held
me la
by
Tiffany.
Hydras themselves. But moving forward to Group 4, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the group that will be playing their Pro Series matches for the first time today. We have nine
Blin
sports,
hian
nine
game hi
FPW,
hu nom.
Enigma
Ma se mak
Gaming
ka ti
is
zung ka
the
ti
other
blin hi.
big name that we forgot about,
And
Arka.
then via
Silly
qualifying
Esports
chawa te
is
hian
that seed
final
is
an
the
ni chia hi
FSSG
an game mi van
PSG.
che.
So
Team
ASG
in
is
za
one of
inge
those
semi
new teams
final
that we
khel
look
don.
forward to see how they match
Ngoro
their
team in za nge
Let's
le.
look forward to Group 5 for now.
Now this is where I
World
was a
Cup
bit disappointed
nen
with
khan
all the
ka
big
chiang mi
teams
alo.
out here.
Team
God's
som
Reign as
hara
well
som
couldn't
som
perform
Yeah.
much. We have Autobots
Team
also
som
fell
Rook
very
unqualified,
short. We
some
have
Rook,
Blood
Rook,
Rose Esports. I mean,
Rook,
Salty
Rook.
was praising them for a
Rook
really long
Rook
time, but
unqualified
still
so don jo
they
semi
fell
final
short.
ah hian tu na hian.
RGE and Gen X were the only two teams who showcased something.
Nga Rook
with
ron ting ka
RGE
hian
taking
china
away
han
one
taka
second.
blaze
That
khan.
is very true. RG and Gen XFM,
And
phenomenal
tik
performance.
saran tinge
yesterday.
final
One
grand
team
finale
is
hi
forward to
khamyang
Group
lo
6. I
khatsu
think from this group as
December
well,
19
it was
2021
a lot of
oh
teams that we expected a lot
Kaba
from,
khum
but
hi
only
var
one
ve.
has been able to
Oh.
deliver, and that is an outlier. UP50. From this particular group, people expected Medal, Wind God to do well. TMZ, I personally had expectations from TMZ.
That
and
boy
they
na
did
om le
improve
ang
a little bit, but not
om
trying
lo
to position
tur
where I see
a
them
chuang kan
breaking
bay
the
se
top
oh
16 even anytime soon. It's gonna be a long journey for them.
ang lo yang
But
khel
we
hi
look forward to today's matches, and we do have the schedule
ni
in front of us.
final
where
ah
we do
final
see
ah chon team
teams
som
from
paruk
Group
chau
4. The first 3 games, they're gonna play that in a row.
semi
Arka,
56
that
is
gonna be a
on
difference
dot
maker.
I think so.
Pool
Because you
rugol-
can build up your momentum. It's
pool
gonna be a
rugol
good
om
campaign
tu na
ahead. The
khumo
boon being this, that
A
if you
B
start off on a
C
very
D
good note,
E
you can
F
maintain
thengan
the
ta
momentum
quarter
for
ah
3 straight games, put a
66
lot
and
of points on the
qualifying to
table.
a blaze.
But whereas if you have a bad start, then you'll have to reset yourself yet again immediately in the map of Miramar.
And this is
Kadam
the
lo
reason
ve hi
exactly
kan
why I
tu
asked
po
you
kan
this
ei ve
question.
si lo
Because
ka
for the
riang
teams
big
that
mange
played
lo dam
yesterday,
lo
they
dam
will
song
have the
song so mi zo
opportunity
team in
of
zang et tel
figuring out, alright,
BMP
this was
sa
a mistake
BMP
we
sa
made,
mi
this
zo
is what
an
we
om
need
po
to
ka
fix,
hello ya
and then test things out today. And if
Yvonne
they can
and
fix their
67.
mistakes today, it's going to give them a good amount of points on the leaderboard.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I would also want to see how the new teams are going to play. For example,
That is
Blind, if they let themselves lose, if they play for, if they play with a mindset that they have nothing to lose, probably they'll do much better. So I'm looking forward for teams like that to perform well.
But during the counter earlier on, before we started the show, ladies and gentlemen, we were looking at the highlights of day 1. Let's have a proper
Yes,
recap
kapag
of
kumalaw lang
what
eh.
happened on day 1
Ivo
of this
semi-final
BGMI Pro
run lo mi
Series
yes
and
semi-final
how
run khel don
teams
Ivo
ended
oh
on the overall leaderboard. We talked about this before. Hydra leading the charge with 38 points, sitting on the first position. But as we can see, the competition right now is just getting started. Things are still very close.
blin chun va lang si lo va blaze a Hydra ni pakhat na la ni so lei top 8 an lang lo ni wa
Let it be Team Soul, but it's just that Team X
wala ba lo tila ta god like po an game adit so tron tong
in the second one as well.
Zelin la
Considering that
Zelin la kan yan chat pui don ang khop mai
especially 7 shows, 17 finishes, the highest in this table so
game
far.
hi ka live lo bo ka
And
tun
we have
tum
to
hi
give kudos
players
to that one
team
single
how hi
man
ka
who
shevak lo
pulled
tat
off
mai a
6 to 7 finishes in a
group
single
lo
game.
ni
Yeah,
haren
that was an amazing
Group
performance, and I
blind.
believe he's doing pretty well for himself in the
hey
overall
league stage day
player
1 to
leaderboard
pa
as well. But we move forward to the second page of the rankings, where we have ORB sitting
Kau
on
hello,
that
Rara.
9th position. Yesterday was a very tricky day for ORB. We saw them consistently breaking into that top 7, top 6 of
RIP
teams
khel
that
kha
they
karon live
got
do mi induem
finishes is where they were lacking a little bit. I think one game they did well for themselves, the other game was an underwhelming performance, but still there is an opportunity to bring themselves back. And in this second page, I think two of the biggest threats that are going to be there for even the teams above them are going to be Gen X FM with how they played yesterday, the amount of aggression they brought on Miramar, and of course Medal.
Oh yes, both of these teams have struck a good balance between the position points and the finish points as well. But when you look further on, this is where a little bit of a disappointment come on our screens. FFE concentrating more on the position points, failed very hard when it comes to, or fell very hard when it comes to gaining those finish points. Whereas we had THW and God's Reign, both of them were trying to do their best to get as many finishes as possible.
We saw Team Together Esports over there on the third page of the rankings with double-digit eliminations on them, so they know the firepower is going to be there. Plus, they just played 2 matches yesterday, so today they will have an opportunity to climb to the second page or maybe even the first. But as we move to the 4th page of the rankings, this is where things get interesting, because now you have all the teams sitting with just single digits.
Now, single digit it is, but apparently it's all the finish points which has allowed them to at least have themselves
BMP
so
san
many,
FS an
total
telin ka
points,
hia
because 5-6 finishes
an
and
tel mi
even
blai
6
sai se
finishes
jok lo
and
mo
even 2-3 finishes.
kha khami
Or
chu
there
cha
were
ha
several
zon
teams who performed
BMP
really well
sa
in one
FS
game
an
and had those
tel lo
finishes
ka
as
shemi
well.
lo
But this is where the point actually meets to the very end where GR8 has got 0 finishes and 1 position point with the 2 games they've played, shows that they have not taken things that seriously.
That is true. This is where the struggle gets real for all of these teams. I mean, 4 points on EC. We have T7S with 4 points and still struggling. In the first day, you would like to see yourself at least on double digits one way or the other. Even if it's just 2 games, you want to hit that 10-point marker. But moving on to the last page of the rankings, overall rankings as of now, we have the teams that are yet to play their games, ladies and gentlemen. This is the entirety of Group 4. And of course, Arka, Blind Esports. That is the name that's going to be the center of attention as of now. A lot of people are talking about them. What about you?
Yeah, obviously, right? We have been speaking about one topic which has been the hot topic on this desk, that is the roster shuffle, which has taken place in the recent past. And let's not forget that S-Power, that big name that Prodigy claimed person, is now moved back to Blind Esports from Godlike. And that's a very, very big addition, if you ask me, because Blind all of a sudden felt like they were losing their confidence when it comes to the frontal battle. They needed another player to be added who was a little bit aggressive. Now since S-Power has come back to that
live tournament them han soi phot te se
Manya can do much more wonders.
And do you know what the best part is? Do you guys know what the best part about this conversation is? That we get to witness this team in action right now without delay, ladies and gentlemen, because we have the first matchup on our screens, and this is where the Group 4 is going to happen.
Big Brother Soul,
Blind Esports
Blind,
up against the likes of Team
Enigma,
Brothers Entity right off the bat on day number 2.
FS.
You know what? I know that the
Flick at FS ani to lo lo mi.
but somewhere far away I can see small stars shine like
OG and Ludom Boga.
NTT and Gujarat Tigers, because these are the 4 teams who will become a trump card for all the big teams out there. If they perform really well, they can snatch away the maximum amount of finish points as well as placement points, and the overall standing, all of a sudden we're going to have somebody in the top which we did not expect to see by the end.
We are expecting earthquakes on that overall leaderboard today. It's going to shake things up quite nicely. But that will only happen at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, because Group 4, as we keep mentioning, that is going to be the talk of the town, at least for the first game itself. How do these teams introduce themselves in a mix of the other 40 teams that already know, all right, these are the changes we are coming with, and this is how the changes have impacted our performance. They had their time to make countermeasures. Where they make the most impact.
Tournament lian la live lawan ni boka kha chance kha impe kan ngai lo mo ke sarin promote na ania tinan tu na kheng pon lo lifestyle se hetan thiam lo hi nakin zela anin zirna turania tournament lian an lo host thai pha na tur zel ta an mani confidence an nei pha na to khana thata
other IGLs who are coming in, let it be from the side of Team Entity, HG as
well. In live vekila ka thei thawa
today we're going to be
chau thak do na chau thak chu ma se
whose IGL is going to think out of the box if the circle is going away from them.
Midang poke staranon ve mo
the chicken dinner, just like how X-Park did and Team Soul did yesterday.
And you were quite vocal about this yesterday, how the recent change in how teams look at building their rosters has just shifted from the frontline assaulters to the IGLs. You try and build the lineup around the IGLs, but would you say that would also result in the play being a little bit more controlled? What we noticed in the matches yesterday, everyone holding back.
Yeah, because the
RIP khel chen la RIP khel entika tunan khelam RIP in
you might have the best assaulters, but if you put him in front of fights after fights with the damaged helmet and vest, I don't think so he can sustain for a long time. So the IGLs are going to be like, you're the president of the whole group. I'm just going to carry you until the final circles and let you free, and that is when you start assaulting. And that's why the rotations become a big factor when it comes to point standings, where 15 points is going to be rewarded with the chicken dinner.
One of the biggest impacts of this change we noticed in the last game the rotation, which felt a little bit unorthodox at a certain point. Both of us were like, alright, this might get them in some trouble, but no, the call was right, and this is why I feel Pukar, he is
trophy ang laute chu ka du ro le decoration te ju helmet lem le airdrop chu sana RIP khel MTC ai ka delai ne RIP khel na RIP khel kha RIP khel kha ka life in du am ka tilom
as to whether Gamla Boy as well as Spray God had played before and they played under a champion banner and become champions together. So the which we thought might be lacking, I don't think so that's going to be the case, because Dream has been with Pucar from the beginning.
Yes.
So the synergy between those two are there, and then we have the Gamla Boy as well as the Spray God as well. So I'll be looking forward to see whether this team will actually listen to Pucar and then hold on to their horses, which they're actually doing, to be frank.
But we're going to have to wait a while before we see them in action. Right now, we have 16 teams stepping into this game. This is the most difficult question I'm going to ask you in the entire day, Arka.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win game 1?
I don't know why I'm getting head Soul to be in the top 3.
Thumbnail
But it's becoming a little hard for me to understand who is going to be getting the chicken dinner. I mean, because they are well known to ruin the game of everybody else. The reason why I call them game ruiners is because the third party kings, one, and second thing, they agree to get as many finishes as possible, as always help them to be in the middle bracket of the point standings, which allows them to be in the top 16.
Yeah, they somehow figure out a way to survive, but in order to finish at the top, they're going to have to slow down the aggression at the right time, which I think for Gujarat Tigers is the later stages, because that is when they get a little overheated. But that was our prediction. I do agree with you. I think Team Soul Blind are definitely going to be there. Big Brothers and Edgy, these are the two teams I'm looking forward to. But ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, game number 1 is going to be on our screens. Day 2 match 1. This is going to be the map of Erangel, and again, Group 4 being introduced to the lobby of the BMPS for the first time ever.
The perfect flight path for day 2, according to me. Starting all the way from military base, ending towards Stolba. Each and every team can respect one another and go to their specific drop locations without having any kind of a clash. But my eyes are going to be set towards the Severny region, because I believe that Metal Wings and HG, both of them share the same drop location, and also towards the Rozok region, because not far away are going to be always want to taunt one another to get those early finishes.
Yeah, especially with Blind being present close to the center.
RIP le TFN khel do dem sar TFN khel do team flick in khel do no pule ya no
these four lads come charging towards you.
I don't team balance si poi mo an team balance su thareng ma sa nia ke ba tu da ka en lo da cho we zus ang to pan kal kha tem cho nam phalo da seta siat na ka ne fight anga hian ma sa nia game ania mo khel siat chang te po ve ve ka so RIP po hay hayati le rol van la lu ti so an that pui don via chong ga ria ke ma
They have been changing their roster continuously to every tournament. Yes, the shuffle has been the highest when it comes to this entity. And I really want to see whether they have got the perfect role to be playing the pro series, because ultimately, you know, it's about you trying to prove your mettle in front of everybody, but somewhere far away at the corner of my eye, I can see a drop collision which might have been towards the
min kap tu thai ko ba
pai he ka mi a ti top kha ne ma both of them together. Sarvit slowly clumps down, and this is going to be a great one.
Yeah, this is going to be a great one. It's going to be OG kicking things off with Seth instantly being knocked out. Reckless. Look at him. He's not being reckless. Switches position. Knows there could be a threat on the other side. But with Uzumaki going for a revive, will he be stopped? The answer is no. Reckless and drops out. But Mohit on the other side finds the trade. Kyoya has been knocked and finished.
Off those in safe.
Were able to get that revive in.
Big Brother Esports.
Yeah, Uncle. Not a Susang I saw that in my low cup.
Limited resources for you guys, and also
Kazun Patolo,
the
process
of the offense very easily. Yeah, because you're going to be
predicted I saw the
let's see how Big Brother Esports will be able to bounce back from such a mess which they've created for themselves. But still, Kyoya is not the kind of person you would want to lose in the beginning of the game itself.
That is true. I mean, the man brings with him a unique skill set that can be utilized by Big Brothers, and that was one of the reasons why Kyoya was the pickup Big Brothers went with. Because if you just a little bit of recap for the new viewers, this team came from nowhere and then just ended up dominating the well-known teams during the recently concluded BGIS. And now, as soon as the circuit for BGMI in the country moves forward, all eyes are sticking on Big Brothers along with their journey, and they want to know what Big Brothers will be up to. But for now, I want to find out what Prince is going to be up to, as he has spotted out the players of Titan FTW.
Yes, Titan. I mean, this as well. Prince had that opportunity to put down Punk, and since he was in the open, it would have been very easy for him as well. But Titans are also thinking straight, if you ask me. They've got that helmet and vest, and then after that they've picked up the vehicle. So even though if shots were hit towards them, they had that, you know, brief
Hello,
period in
sorry,
which
I'm
they
like,
were sustained. And now
I
since
saw
they've
your
fallen
brother
back
job
from a
the
fight,
didn't kill
the
hold
farming
second
continues. But are they
ngay
going to be stopped by the
lung
other
the
team? We're
sao
keeping
za
an eye
watch
on them.
party la ni lovia
Stalkers are there. They're definitely there, and Gujarat
king
Tigers.
lo watch party le
mentioned
zelten
about them
china
before. The kings of
kan
the
support
third
lang zo
party.
kang chule
Or at
an
least they
live
used
kan
to.
en
We
how
haven't
dia
seen
de
them
dang
pull
chule
it off
ke bok
successfully
kalau
in a while
ai
now.
live an live ka en cha cha qualify an live pot ya laptop a te kalau en pa amo kalau en cha za za mani kan support ton to ni kan oh zo kan ve put ang eh choi tu la
In the future, there will be an
hello
opportunity
zong
for
ve to
Gujarat
men
Tigers
yang
to
chu cheer ve du
third-party
si la
that
sorry
over a
sorry
bridge
khumo
fight and hopefully secure a few extra points.
ruat lau zan
You
in
have
kel
this
tur
Eastern
chu tu ngai
Circle
live
on
down
our screens right now, and
I
I'll
pool
cover
A
what
hi
both
chan
of
te
you are
ke
actually
ti na
putting
live
in
anga
the
pool B
analysis.
hi
How do you play?
keral te tin oh
First take a drop location
ara
towards
pil
the
online
resort
phang
region.
ngai
FS Hitman is doing the right thing, choosing Roland as a drop location, because yesterday also we saw
team hi
a
chu hai
similar
football te
circle
po
when it
ani
comes
hi
to the
mo
first game of day one, and I'm expecting them
players
to,
su
you
in
know,
thak
slowly
wal
make their
ten
way to the
oma
center of the circle,
kum tluan
making sure that they
thei
check
tak
out
tak
their
hi
backlines, because
ani
if
big
you're
lova
able to avoid those
esports a po ni
backstabs, then
se
it becomes much easier for
sui
you
chapi
to
jo om ve lau
concentrate
thei
on
thin lau
teams
kha
in
kha chu
front, and Seoul was the perfect example yesterday to show us that was the case.
I mean, they did showcase that in game number 1 itself. Rotations were very clean. Stage 3 aggression to push for the zone was perfectly timed. But right now, talk about aggression and you talk about the first finish of the game where we have the players of OG still trying to keep a big
de
run.
bohan live na sat em kha
I like the setup coming in from the side of OG. If you see Sandhu is having that blind spot or the off angle, making sure that he doesn't allow the side of Big Brothers to cross the road. At the same time, it's got to be the rest of his teammates in the next building itself, making sure that they wait for the Big Brothers to make a small mistake. Look at that, no helmet, no vest, but somewhere far away there's going to be a point of contact. And Storm
player in
gets
sharp ko lan tam tu
overwhelmed,
nge team
and in the
tam
open
tak
gets
tam
knocked
tak
out with the
ang
shotgun. I thought it's the
thei
vehicle
tak
which
tak
put
ne
him
tiang
down
tu zon
eventually, but it was the shotgun which, you know, connected to his head.
But you know what I'm even
Ngai
more
zong te
shocked
po
with?
oh
Why
ba
is
boy
Enigma
thak to thin
Gaming
oh
towards the southern shoreline of military base? They were there in the control of the center building, the C building as a lot of people call it, and they had it all to themselves. But just seeing the directions of Team Empire in the early stages got Enigma Gaming hungry for blood, and now they are out on the hunt, trying to see if they can chase down the players of TE and get a few extra eliminations for themselves. They've already gotten one, and they've gotten Empire from Team Empire extremely low. He's down to 50 HP. Will he survive? I think he will.
The best way for you to take down Team Empire is to strike them in the beginning itself. Do not allow them to be in the final circles, because they are also one of the other pack of wolves who pounce on all those weaklings out there. When they're knocked out, they just steal away all those finishes. So what you have to do is make sure before they could complete their loot, go target them, put them down, finish them off, and get those early 4 finishes. So I think they're thinking in the right way, but still, you know, if you've taunted Team Empires, they'll be waiting for redemption. Across the bridge, they're still gonna wait and wait until you come in front of them.
You just read my mind right there. I was just about to say this, that wouldn't it be possible for Team Empire to hold on to the bridge and get some revenge from Enigma Gaming? Now I think both of us are on the same page. That is an actual possibility, and I think Enigma Gaming also realizes this, so they might not necessarily go for a military bridge rotation. They might try and take their chances from that No Repnoi bridge. By the way, there's just a little bit of
loot
that
aditya
was
po
going
ha
towards No Repnoi.
anhun lai phalo
They've
vek
already
flick upon
crossed.
it ho
They made it all the way towards that shelter mansion area.
adige
And a clever one as well.
Life
Shelter
to
region, you have
pin-
ample amount of loot for yourself, but also
Ah,
since you're
life
in the
and tiga
epicenter
tak
of
ngan
the
tan
circle,
dong
you
haju
can
ka
have an eye
mo
on all the other teams out there.
anmani kha
Knowledge
ram
is
tan
power,
hung
my
turan
friend.
ta
So you need to have
amaro
knowledge
chu
before you
room
enter the final circles of this game.
tiga tingo
Ultimately, on our screens right now is going to be FS, the team I'm going to watch
7:45
out for. As I said,
Room.
Hitman is the only retained
IDP
player
tikhan
of
time,
this entire lineup. And I would want to see how he's going to be leading the rest of his team. The newcomers, I've not seen Dazzle, Coffin and Turbo in a really long time perform. Probably they were the last
Group
time they
A.
performed was in BGIS. And now the
Nam
synergy
Tia,
between the new
KT.
IGL and these players, that's going to be in a
Group
big
B.
question.
Yeah, it is going to be a big question for everyone, especially considering
Okay.
FS is a known name amongst the community. People have seen this lineup, seen this banner, and they've
45
seen them do well. Not
BGMI
just mediocre, they've done well for
IDP
themselves. But look at
Kano
this. Seems like Blind Esports, they're looking to catch
men
the
la
players
men
of
live
FS.
lo min exit live tu tam lu tu ml hi pa nga paruk vel ning ka thia
Blind Esports again. You have S Power, Mania, Ronnie,
ka shiat pui ve vak lo
As I said, he's just going to make
Risk
sure
done
that
rồi,
they
vẫn
do
post
everything
số là
possible
luôn. Ôi, em lâu
to
tục.
not allow the opponents to come close to them, and that has been the best part about their strategy. If they see vehicles, they remove the tire.
Nó
If
chỉ
they
cái
see any
face
heads
cam đây có
popping out, they
unfair
get
sắp
that knock and
xia.
make sure they strike fear in the hearts of the opponent so that they don't push in immediately, and then they continue their journey and find that off angle. You know, after you cut off players from moving in those vehicles, it becomes easier for you because they're going to be coming on foot, and it becomes easier for you to take them down. And the rotation from Manya, oh my goodness, right to the epicenter of the circle, making sure that his team has got the best spot to start off their assault.
Charging for the center in a circle like this is also a sign to let the other teams know we are here to fight, we are here to dominate, we won't avoid anyone. And that is, I think, a statement that Blind Esports is going to try to make right off the bat. But look at the map. Look towards hospital. What's happening over there? What is Empire up to?
After being involved that badly, I believe you
Jonathan
need to
Grant
run
had
to the hospital, patch yourself up, and
Jonathan
then
ni
come
map
back into
halau
the
khop
game.
mai ni.
But
Hell, let
getting
southern
things
side.
serious over here towards the
southern
southern side of
side
Pochinki,
play.
I'm able to see a splash of colors, and I would want to see which is
Nó
going to be
cool
the
more
first
salute.
point of contact, because all the teams out there are the teams in the middle
face
bracket,
cam in support
and
đó
they
thì
will
guys
need
nó
some
lằng thầy
finish
đâu cái
points
gì cái
before they enter a circle like this.
cái
As
set
we have
tổ
already
đi đó
discussed
thì
before,
nó cái lâu
a
chất thật lệ
shelter
thế năng nó thì toàn đây
have to get out of that.
उसका मतलब है कि वो थोड़ा edges पे खेल
enter of the zone, especially taking control of the southern half
Flick
of
then
that
kill them,
circle.
kill
Look at this
low.
fight breaking out between Metal Wings and the players of FS. Both the sides caught off guard, completely out in the open. Gonu from the side of Metal Wings having already taken a lot of damage, but Coffin, he's going to be pushed upon by two players.
FS
In a
fine
buggy,
here,
takes
FS
down one, but goes down to the next.
Hey,
Metal
meet
Wings
here,
having taken a
ingat
massive
tangan
hit
lag
upon
lu nge.
themselves. Will they be able to
Fin
survive?
tao
I
han
think they
ching
might
anh
be
khát
getting
nhau
those
về
trades, and
cả
FS
tủ
not
biết đâu.
as comfortable as they look after that initial knock, but maybe
Van
Turbo
knock
is
cho
going
em
to
này
push
thân
that turbo
Turbo
button
hơn.
and bring his team back into this fight. It's going to be a struggle, lobbing the nades, ends up finishing
Hold
his own
revive,
teammate
revive,
by
revive.
mistake.
I'm
Oh,
more
motor
worried about
latlan
the
đây,
teammates who
Avane
have gone to
tak.
that, you know, revival by putting up a smoke and then try to run
Players
away.
panhi
But
lai
he's
anh
gonna
đang
be
sạc tổ
retreating,
kha
and that's the
han
bad
nep
call if you
chia.
ask me. Leaving your teammates to not only bleed out but also get finished off and giving away those finishes to the opponents.
Nó
I
revive
do
man
understand that
sẽ
you
tua
don't
tới
have
khá
any other
đó.
choice, but ultimately, if you're going down without a
Bây giờ là
fight, you're
BB
not going to
Bond
have
anh
finishes in your
đùa
name.
That was the
BDS
pressure of game one visible right there, because FS, they're kicking their journey off today, and it's going to be important for them to bring as many points in this game one as possible.
Em biết là hiện chi rằng hắn lên phải mà là first kill, first blood là khăn đi nè. Anh lên phải
Still
rồi lên
having
phải
held
là.
on to their numbers. Finally looking for the push, save the stalker this time, the spray from the Uzi.
Van chạy. Ole, save it anh come back ole.
Side of OG in a matter of seconds. What just
OG
happened?
just volta.
Thinking they will dominate the side of Big Brothers, knowing there were just two players.
Tira players loot ma chan ma sama sa tira khan o players pang hi finish off sak thei han turan ni lai isual chiang boka
because the way
loot
Sav was
me
able to
le
hold
le
them
ba
off
thu
with
to lo
such
dikha
less
da
loot, I think the inventory was perfect. Using an Uzi
DBS
and a shotgun for the
na
close range
lua
and
blaze
waiting for the
avang.
opponents to
Oh.
make one small mistake and then capitalizing on it. That was the perfect thing to
Then
do.
veng
When
tang.
you have a DBS and you're entering inside and you're not watching those blind
Cái
spots,
gì cái face
you're
cam
gonna
tu kal
get
thei
punished,
là
and that's
wa.
what Big Brothers have done. And look at how the equation has now turned.
Yeah.
It's a 3v1 situation. Sandu from far away, as soon as he got to know his players were getting taken down, he could have just rushed in and done the damage as well. But the circle, ladies and gentlemen, has a different story to say altogether.
Yeah, this is one of the best curveballs you could, witness in front of our eyes, because no one's going to hope this happens to them when they're playing the game. A southwestern shift taking us all the way towards that farm Potato Hill area, and now it's going to be a scramble for position. Taking the control of Potato Hill still secures
Không
them
hề
this
Seoul.
mid-game,
Seoul
but
bom một
it's
thầy
gonna
lô.
transition into a bad play late game when you're going to have to step out into the open fields.
Chỉ hắn Seoul đang khel đó một cái blind đấy kha. Khu Seoul cho sen.
There's a small ridge between the
Position
shelter
cho thật
region
thì
and
blind.
that
À ho
potato
blind
hills.
nên này.
So I mean, if you
Lên
have
này
that
lệ lúc tụi
small
nó Seoul hi high
micro
ground
advantage
anh
for
mà.
yourself, which Team Soul is
Blind
actually
hi
taking
low ground
right
compound
now,
and hold on
they
hi.
might be able to register that chicken dinner. But again, you'll have to watch out for those backlines as well, because if some team attacks you from behind, from that shelter region,
Mình
you're going to
anh
be
khel
so
đó
busy
thì
that
hi
other
team
teams
flicking
from
anh khel
other
oh
angles
team
can put you
flicking
down as
to
well.
next G tournament cho team flick TF.
Now though, Feels like there has been a reset opportunity for a lot of these teams.
Oh, ilo in time out mi ava buai tha.
Happened between Big Brothers, OG, FS taking a hit, and Empire losing out on one of their players. This is going to be one of the big 4v4s that we get to witness now. Seal trying to protect themselves. They know the opposition is there in the houses right next to them, in front of them. They have taken a few shots from the competition, but still having managed to avoid a direct knock from Team Silly. I think they can be safe upon that ridge, but look at this, FS. We see Turbo's name on the feed. It's causing a nuisance for Big Brothers. I don't know if that's going to be advisable or not. He's all alone over there.
I think it is, if you're able to taunt the big bears when they're weak, because no proper loot with that fight being taken place, and now the circle is far away. Either they'll have to decide on first looting and then making it inside the circle, or make sure that you find the right compound to get the rest of the loot as well. So they are a little way comparatively, so this will be the right time to strike them.
But calculated risk.
Yeah, it's a calculated risk if you ask me. I don't say that, you know, the player actually knows this is the story of Big Brothers, or he doesn't know that Big Brothers are the team who's coming in front of them. But still, if you take those calculated risks, you will be rewarded in the later stages of the game.
Yeah, plus already FS is in a position where there is the highest probability that they will be the first, one of the first.
Blaze he live set IGL.
Single one that they get
Farm zo
is
athale si nga pot thale
extra
do
bonus
lo
from
endo
this game.
apo tha ka ring lo.
From the side of Turbo,
Solom na
he's already
khen tian
done
apot
decent jobs
apotang
of
mid zone in
the mid
apotang.
game. If he survives more, makes it to that placement point barrier, crosses the top 12 teams, then maybe it's going to be an added advantage for the side of FS. But again, story for another time. We focus on Hindustan Gaming on our screens.
Hindustan Gaming. This is the reason
Justice
why
for
I say I
Blacklist.
expect to see them in the top 3. Look at the way they've rotated into the circle.
Blaze
I know
alo
that's
swal
the
khop
most
mai
southern
guys
part
6k
of the
subscribers
circle,
kai
but
tumila
it gives them a
kan
little
guys
bit
wait
of
thing
a, you know,
subscribers
window
za
to
ani
now
me
rotate all the way to the western
tam
side
lu
of the
tuk
map
chun
and
to
get
lo
ready to make
come
it
on
to the other
guys
side into the circle which has just formed up. We spoke about 3 teams to be present, Blind, Soul as well as HG, and guess what? 2 teams have already got the prime position inside a circle like this, and when Blind is placed in a position where they can start their assault, there's not going to be stopping them that easy.
Yeah, but oh, look at the team counter. It feels like the first squad wipe of the game has already happened. And it's going to be OG who are going to be forced to wipe the dust. The first team to be eliminated from this matchup with just one finish in their hands. And that was Kyoya from Big Brothers, the pickup that they had. But now, Metal Wings, with how these lads are just running around in the open with their buggy, I feel like they're scrambling for cover and struggling to find anything to work with. But talk about struggles, and the struggles for Gujarat Tigers are not done. Just being handed a squad wipe by the hands of Team Soul.
I just love the way Team Soul is playing this. This is one of the most vulnerable spots, if you ask me, in a circle like this. You have a little bit of a ridge in front of you where teams can somehow peek out and put you down. That's what HGs are actually trying to do, as Nick OP is going to be stopped in his track by the side of Omega. Some more sprays are going to be trying and connecting to the buggy, but ultimately there's also another blind spot to this very location held by Team Soul, because not far away from them is a high reach. If some team is holding that, they'll be able to register very, very easily some knocks against the side of Team Soul.
It's going to be across the field. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but this is the opportunity when you take control of that high ground. Team Soul getting distracted for a few extra seconds. But here's the replay, ladies and gentlemen. Turbo also getting finished off. The from the side of FS, caught off guard and
Blacklist si tu mod mai ni to lo ni mo
now
mod lo ni trin ni mo ke
Team
ma chuan
Enigma looking
khalo
for
mod
this
mi lo
high
ka
ground
femi
push,
lo
but don't really have the information of the exact positions of where the players of
BGMI
Enigma have positioned themselves. The utility dump can happen from the side of Empire, but they need to be careful as well. Resource management is important for endgame.
Not only that, you have to watch for your backlines as well. As I said, everybody are inside the circle, 12 teams specifically inside the circle right now, and they'll be able to register 1 or 2 knocks. Empire, 2 of the players are very, very low on HP. Just 1 or 2 shots and you're down. There it is, Silly. They're going to take advantage of all the commotion being done by the side of Enigma. Addy down on his knees. Now will they continue their assault towards the side of Team Empire?
It's going to be very difficult for Enigma to continue this pressure on Empire. Empire still have the man advantage in their hand, but the HP was very low.
drive
But
by
a
Tha
blind
mo kha
drive
chu
by from Infinity is going to result in the numbers being equalized, and now Empire pushed in a corner, along with the fact that there are shots coming in from the flank as well. It's so much pressure to deal with, but Rockstar and Jadu, the experienced players from the team,
DBS
they're
is
trying to
then
step up.
ni
It's
na
not even
to
gonna matter, both of them wrapped up, and Empire is also handed the exit. Enigma Gaming finding a way out of a very tough position.
I mean, the two crosshairs being set on them.
Zai tu
One
mes
Infinity
nga
with
mi
the
ni
DBS
don
trying to
yes
keep them
da
busy
ng zat
up
nge
front,
hey
and
hey
then
hey
you have LeBron
kan
far away trying
pin
to
hi
find
on
the
message
rough angle.
guys
Look at the place,
hi
in
alive
which
tu
he's
tu net
holding.
no group A
And,
chan te
he's
ke tin
able
live
to,
on
you know,
group B
find
ke
that
ral
blind
te
spot of the
745
opponents and then
IDP
putting them
om
down.
tan don
But
player satan
ultimately now they've got the best
ma
spot
mod kan
inside
ngai
the
lo
circle,
sorry
and how
oh
well
blacklist
will
hi
they
chu
continue their assault
ma
as
ka ka
Team
mu
Soul
thin ni
continues to, you know, attack each and every team out there, and
Ka
now
mod ve
they're
man
going to be
ke ben
concentrating
thale
probably on getting inside the circle.
sol po hi goblin hi
I'll be honest, I don't know what Team Soul is up to right now. Just running around, scrambling for other teams, players they can find off
ma na
guard,
chen
and
bon ang khan han eng lo
well,
na
it was
tu ri a
bound to
om
happen.
tam lo
Goblin
khop
has
ma
been knocked out. Akshat is trying to see if he can bring his teammate back, but
RTG on fight
RTG
lu har
from
chuan
the
ti sol don hi
distance
sol an
has
ka
the
ve ma ta
opportunity
sol
to
hian
build up additional
du
pressure.
to yang gate keep thei lo da ti
Blind
hian
sprays
anom na
in the
open
distance
field
where
ni
you know you secured a knock a few seconds ago will force the team into a corner, and then maybe RTG will have an opportunity to push
ti ti lai
forward.
tak hian sol lam kin hai se
Still going to be a challenge because they know there's another threat that's waiting for them right in
commentator
the edge
ka
of
du
the
ber
circle.
thank you
Gatekeeping.
Mikey
Any other team trying to breach that northern edge, it's going to be Blind Esports, but switching over to Entity Gaming, and Troy knocked out, Gamla Boy and Siu pinned out. What is happening?
Entity versus Team Soul on one side, RTG versus
sa umra sa po ro ngai ve
as I said, the circle, the prime position of the circle being held
Skylash
by
Gaming
Blind as well as Team
ngau lai
Soul
da
almost to the corner.
sa umra sa
They
po
could have done wonders if they had watched
ma
out for
chu
the
phato lo
backline.
khop mai
Since they have not, I would love to see how Entity will be taking great advantage of
ai
this
kem
Team
gon ni thei
Soul.
to lo goblin
Now
pa
Omega says, you know what, I'm going to scout
Goblin
and
po
make
ma
sure I
patay
get
to
to a
lao.
better place inside the
ai
circle.
ji chu
Let's play around some
ho
bridges as
solid
well.
third party
As
do de
Fubles is going to be coming into
apui
action.
don hi
All
ava
of them
moi
standing.
ve
It's
kha
gonna
kha
be 4v4
Nate
as
kha.
Gamla Boy and Somraj, both of
eh
them down on their
sol
knees.
pa nei to
What a
mo ti
perfect nade lined up
SG
from
pan
players
nei
of
zong
Team
mo le.
Soul. They have secured 2 knocks.
Ho
and
avin
things
1v2
not done for Entity Gaming.
Kale 1v3 dei do de le
Gaming
sua
coming
anung la
forward,
matan
and
big
here they
step
have
mo le
arrived at a quick exit. handed to the
avan
players of
ne
Enigma as
aviju
well. But Hindustan Gaming, they need to realize things are not done for them yet. They have another team waiting for them on the other side of the hill in the form of Team Soul. But look at this, Avi, he's backing off, wants to move to the other side, prioritizing the entry in circle in their own position.
I just love the way HG just cleared off the side of Seal. There
Yeah.
was a knock lying around, and that's what he did. He just got off the vehicle, got that finish as well, and the way they're holding this corner of the circle, all they have to do is not take the fight with Team Soul. Make sure that Team Soul gets busy with someone else.
Eng
With
turning
Blind already
mi zo
doing a
eng
little
team
bit of
net
a
tel eng
damage to
team ma
Team
mi zo
Soul.
sun tel lo
Now
eh
they'll
100
also
likes
be
po kan
looking
kai
to
trap guys let's
somehow
go
make it inside the circle,
Vek lo ten.
not coming into the crosshairs of Team Blind. So this,
Ske subscribers guys
trifecta of
sis
death
ke
is
subscribers
gonna
kai la
question
kan dia
both these teams.
min
Yeah,
unsub
Soul
de
as
ya
well as
in
HG.
sual va
It's somewhere far away. Blind, the way they were able to
sub
eliminate
ti
the side
pun
of
kan soya
RTG.
tin
I
hiam
was
dei
speaking
ma
about this,
ya
right? When you're trying to make it inside the circle and you have a strong team like Blind gatekeeping you, better not take that fight. Try to find another way into the circle.
Yeah, especially as we saw in the replay, they had that concrete cover available as well, making things even more easier for the side of Blind. All they had to do is just go full on defense and protect themselves, and RTG, they just ran towards their own demises. But we have a very interesting shift of the zone right now. Remember how we talked about a few moments ago, Blind Esports and then gatekeeping the teams on the northeastern side? Well, we have a northeastern shift, and Blind is the only team anywhere close to the edge of the circle. Everyone else is scrambling for positions on the southern side. Last player surviving.
blind po hi hei
no
tum pon
doubt
khele
due
gre
to
le
the
lo
zone
eng
itself,
turning a
the
BMPS
nicest
ani on
point,
xi a hem
but
zo
that
kan lo
brings
kan
us to
lar
the
do
top
anum
6
ve
teams, the top 17 players of this match number 6.
I'll tell you something interesting right now. HG
PCN
Gaming
te
Avi has got 5 finishes in his name, and he's the only person who's contributed to
hey
all the
bodo
5
te po
finishes
tu
of his team as
MSS
well.
ya
So I believe that
Grand
you know,
final
Nick
loot
would
khan
want
ita.
his teammate to survive a little more with the final circles and then try to pick up as many finishes
goblin
as
po
possible.
DBS
And the
keng
way they
ver
waited
da
this
e
fight
kem
with
hang
Team
mang
Soul,
to lo
that was also pretty interesting. They used those ridges, they hid behind it. Even though they lost a player, they understood that, you know, once we get away from the side of Team Soul, probably we'll be able to register the top 3 spots. Whereas Avi
So, di mo
gets
high
taken
ground
out from
hold
the
thaya.
grenade being tossed in from the side of
An
Team
person
Seal.
secure secure thei chon
And
chi
now
ke
the
dang
blessing in disguise for them has to be the
ma
side
se
of
blin
Team
hian
Soul.
defense line an ngal zo
Soul actually step in
low
right
ground
now.
ni
Will
ma
they
se mo
prioritize their own
asan chu
safety,
helai
their
hei helai
position
mun
side
hi
just
a
gonna-
hniam
The
lama
answer
thingkung
is
vel enge
both actually,
in
'cause AG they get wiped out
in
by
pen
the
na
players
tura
of
tam
Team
zok
Seal, and now that
ma se
allows
ga soi
Soul
khamo
a
gok
little
li
bit
na
of
mo
freedom to
ei
focus on
ki
the
la
team
la
in
ve ve mo
front.
ko te tu
The
ha
first team to go down by their hands is going to be the side of Silly Gaming, and
Soul
now
tan so
Team
Aladdin
Soul will
rang chu
shift
ni
focus
goblin
between
chu
the players of Seal and Metal Wings in the distance, who have actually pretty nicely managed to make it into the top 3 of this match. But ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about the
Come
top
on,
3,
100 likes
Team
per
Soul
Zoila.
surviving with a
100
lot
like
of
trap,
players
let's
still
go,
present
guys.
in this matchup. All 4, in fact, Blind Esports present with all 4, but Metal Wings, they are down to
Hey,
their
blin chu
last
4
man
kills chen la
standing
ne
in the name of
an
Zon.
zone an chang
We
thae
predicted
bo
this, right?
ni
We predicted to see Blind, we predicted to see Team Soul as well as HD in the final circles, and it seems like, you know, we are starting to manifest things rather than predicting it. And I just love when things fall in place. But Metal Wings, yes, he's the last man standing, and if he does the damage
Hey,
against
in
the
Mutia
side of
ma'am.
Blind, then Team Soul is going to take
cover
a great
high ground
advantage
nei
on it.
high
But
ground
who's
hin
going to be registering this
Soul is
one
secure
last
thei chuan
finish
chicken
is
thei ang ka
also
ti
going
kha
to be a very crucial
an
thing,
ta
because
low
we
ground
see
hi an
4
man
finishes
thiam
coming
an
from the side
low
of
ground hi an
Metal
van
Wings.
advantage
We
le
see
chu
that Team
cover
Soul has
tur an
got
nga
almost
zok
8
thung
to 9 finishes, and if, you know, a good exchange happens between the Blind as well as side of Team
zone
Soul,
hian ta hi
then we'll
tran
be
to
able
ring
to
lawa
see
second
only
here
one team walking away to
Yeah.
be on the top with or without chicken.
laser mi mayan
Feels
den
like
ve
the kingmaker of this match is going to be the one picked off first. Zod, who had the
Ah,
opportunity
nal,
to go for
mo
the
S-Power
blown
na
up
ika.
with a nade thrown by S-Power, and now that gives us, ladies and gentlemen, 2 of the best teams in the country going at it. Blind on one side with the compound to protect Team Soul out
Soul
in the
versus
open,
Blind
but
a whole
the
zone an lu ve ve ngai
and
tu
the
dim huna
circle
chuan Blind in an
smack
position
in the middle of both
zone
of
an
them.
hol fu thei chuan an chicken na cha sa sang zo ka ma se
With a great note. They started
motor
off day one with
mga
the
cover an
chicken
siam
dinner.
tor
They
hi
want to replicate
bagi
the same
li
thing on
ran
day
nei
two,
hin van doi
whereas
pui pha thei
Blind,
mai
they
thei
want
bok
to write history yet again, because they have always been the team to register the first game they play to a chicken dinner. So let's see,
Yes.
2 histories are now going to be challenged to see which among them is going to be broken and which among them is actually going to be written. As you said, the circle not favoring anybody right now, with great advantages for both these players, and smokes, the utilities which we keep speaking about. Look at that. There's no smokes left out for the side of Team Soul, whereas Blind has got a few for themselves.
But Soul did just make a gamble with Omega going for a push, and that plan of theirs has backfired upon them.
Come on,
Omega
Gatti,
has
come
been knocked
on.
out, but now Blind, they're scrambling for picks. They want to take more map control, and they've followed up behind the rocks. They have cover to work with. The vehicles are there. The soft cover in the form of smokes is going to be there as well. All they have to do is clear up the flank. If they can pick off Neo, it's going to be a straight-on fight for Blind Esports with a big man advantage in hand. A 2v4 that they can make work in their favor.
I just love the way S-Power is right now holding his ground. He knows that he has to stop Neo from coming forward. I did see a smoke coming in his hand, so he can right now blind the side of Team Soul in one way or the other. Goblin tries to come forward, and
hello.
is going to be punishing him to put him down as well. Blind foreman standing strong. Omega
Hi
gets
lower
survived
ground
on
a
the
chuan
other side to
motor
make
an nei
it
chama
easier
se
for the
cover
side of
thingkung
Team
a tam
Soul,
zo
but that's
ka
not going to be the end.
ADS
S-Power
ay
might try to be a little bit greedy, but
petra
guess what?
den
The greenness is going to pay off
ADS
as he
pe
comes
aman
out, grab
ADS
all
thare
the
maram
attention,
va
and
ka
eventually
zu
it's going to be winner chicken dinner grabbed away by the side of Blind, but Team Soul, what
so
have they
declared
done?
So what have
Blazan
they done, and what was Blind doing? The players just stepping out from behind cover. I believe that was done just to bait shots and get information of where the players of Team Soul were hiding. And once they had the information, they knew what they had to do to make it work and secure the win. An impressive finish, but an impressive run from both the teams.
I mean, this is what I keep saying. Knowledge is power. You need
Yes.
to know where the opponents are, and that is what Blind played around with. From the beginning, they were waiting for Team Soul to actually be greedy, pick up that Metal Wings finish.
Yeah.
And then once they understood this is where the players are standing, S-Power was like, you know what, I might be the sacrificial goat, but I'm going to step a little forward, try to gain as much information as possible. And the best part is this, he took a vehicle and he started moving around. And Team Soul was like, there's another finish lying around, and they come out of their cover, get punished ruthlessly.
Yeah, and it was a difficult position to be in for both of those sides, especially for Team Soul, to be fair.
so
They
ka
were
easy
out in
chicken
the
for
open,
Blind an
on
position
the
khat
slope,
boka ni
overexposed,
Blind
'cause
nga
Blind Esports and Team Soul, both of them had the opportunity to spot each other through the windows.
Yeah.
But Blind Esports, once they go prone, it becomes very difficult for Team Soul to do anything. So they did have to wait for Blind to step out into the open, and the only way they could do that is when either Blind focuses on Zord, which they did, but they did it with utility, so they also played safe. Or if Team Soul actually sent one of their players, I believe Omega went for information. But anyways, I mean, all is said and done. Match number 1 in the hands of Blind Esports. Team Soul, they're gonna have to stay satisfied with the second place finish. But ladies and gentlemen, we have something very special for you guys. We saw this yesterday. We're gonna see this again because this is something new that Crafton India is bringing for all of us. And ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be the new promo video for Bolti Band, new series being brought to you guys by Crafton.
Blind me am na zone pot charger hack down niang. Ai khalai khan atira nang zone po zo a zon nang ai ka soi dik om lei sa. Nang te chuan farm la mai pot do ni tia. Ke nan pot do lo ka ti kha.
We'll find out. We'll see.
BMGC lo en vele chen da.
Looking a lot better though, Blank. It's been fun to watch Mad Bulls, which is nice to say. Even if they don't look exactly ecstatic every time we see him on camera. Tulicker honestly didn't look too pleased with his win, but I think that was mostly just like stress and relief of going, okay, we needed it. At least we have a win. You know, if they can just keep that up, that's probably the ideal scenario.
BMGC ho player si enge chan o eng lo hian waria mai FPP mo da dahi in lo chik ve ngai ngar helawa.
Right now, I do think they should be a little bit more elated than they actually are. I know that sounds crazy. I have just said in a different manner, be happier, which isn't always as easy as it sounds a lot of times, as we know. And I think for Mad Bulls, realistically, they're doing
Facebook eng lo an chua sana.
So far.
Tuwe kha face player chua san tu kha VPE mi. Ina chua san kha tuwe kha VP a lu san tu kha. Oh Tony ke. Tony ke na chua san tang amman phalo ri.
Obviously, Influence Rage still has another day to play. I think all things considered, by the end of it, Influence Rage will be on top.
Qualify za thin tlem thein ti vem guys. An nia chon top 3 lek ten yaw. Potato is back. Potato is welcome back.
For them, it should just be studied, right? Maintain this kind of play style, maintain this kind of pressure on the rest of the squads, because more than likely you are going to have to play against quite a few of these teams again in the last chance. So the more they can stake their claim on positions around the map, the more they can stake their claim on these rotations and be a team that
PMGC le I mean global players le BGMI khel ho an lo na in frame.
Say small advantage in the last chance where you have that kind of don't mess with me factor.
Le mizo le tiang competitive asanga players kan an lo na. In frame le guys.
I mean, that's a good vibe to give off, you know. Definitely would increase your protection a bit.
It's true, yeah. I mean, I just say it to myself as I'm walking down the street sometimes. That's how it works.
Don't mess with me.
Don't mess with me. People are like,
the idea
Daddy, that guy's talking to himself.
That's what I mean, just muttering under your breath. Don't mess with me, mate. Don't mess with me.
Yeah.
People just walking by. Excuse me, sir. Do you need help? Don't mess with me. All right.
Yeah, it's less that I'm giving off hard man vibes and more that I'm giving off that I need to be in an asylum vibes. Which isn't ideal, but it seems to work.
Hey, look, to each their own, Blank. You know, unorthodox strategies do seem to work best. If your enemy can't prepare for it, you know, how can you? I suppose.
Yeah.
In some way, that's a sentence.
He's done a 720 kickflip roundhouse. Oh my lord!
Oh,
let's see that coming. The standard is a 360.
Yeah, this is wild. Look at the man doing ollies in the car.
That's illegal.
Right, put the skateboards down.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
We need to get back in the game here. And
So you want ro chu. Oh. Hey mizo ten ne kan an lo em chu mo. An ni hawa chon rotation hi mo. An ngai poi mo turu lut tuk rengot. Zon an chan that lo chuan thirula an lut nei te hi tu na po kha then chon kha AKMU 40/50 le shotgun top 10 keng ta hei tian an nei thalo ta motor pakhat chen nei rotation ngai poi mo ma se player su nin chan thau chu ti rotation ten ngai poi mo zia hi an mani chon secure zone hold mo hei nakina kan fight kan langa lut kan nei themen ti rel ru puang time deuh khan zone om dana zir an man an in ja zo kan chu zone kan chan lo chuan Healing items lag. Oh. Rồi mà giòn lụt et cái đi nó không tu dễ rằng hay lắc gì thì lắc gì thế thì lắc gì thế bao direct qualify anh này anh thì thấy tổ lo.
Coops in the process, kept driving around to try and find another central position. I think at that point you just have to realize that this is not working out. Teams aren't just going to let you free roam anymore.
No, it did feel like one of those where, you know, you're kind of thinking, you've thrown that away a little bit. You know, you did have a potential to try and see what you could actually get out of the game, whereas instead, I agree with you, the rotation was a little bit careless, and potentially even just the idea to jump out at that point. You know, you're only going to delay yourself even more in terms of like the startup time for the vehicle to actually get away, right? And it just meant they went from a 4, stuck in a very small camper van to a just the one small camper van. Wasn't ideal. A couple of shots been going out here though.
Oh, BMGC le BMPS kan en.
Madballs have suffered 1 knock as well, so at least they're seeing what they can do to patch up the situation. Here's one for you as well, Blank. When we saw that first knock, it was Raging OCO in the car, and he bonneted someone. Call that road rage OCO.
Life cut the top. Oh, the boy can't talk to you. Oh,
we love to see it. He was doing ollie in the car over his head. It was good stuff. We enjoyed it. We love to see it. For Reject, not quite towards the central right now, but a single elimination, that'll do the trick. He'll be happy, pleased with that one. DX Xavier also pretty pleased their position up towards Severny, right? You know, they don't drop Pachinki, but they get themselves a fairly good position to work their way out from. They've got a lot of positions they're currently holding on to. Now, DX Xavier, typical rotational path up towards this northeast side. So for them, again, we'll be going for something like that. Gladiators are just...
Oh, boy can't talk to you. Oh.
A bit of a dangerous push, I would say. I mean, you still...
Brexit a big fan. Brexit a big fan. Brexit coming to lap with
going for this scout early on. You can see them starting to get a little squeezed here by the rest of teams, and the rest of the squad just is nowhere near to support. This is a greedy rotation.
And confidence level sa tin ka soy kha FPP mo ta han warda ma han warda BMGC player ho mo mak tak tak di kan an lo na BG Indian ho ne India jo FPP mo di kan mang kha ta ni an heo an FPP mo den da ni hey den lu do kha phai jo asilai po lak lo akap tha thau ki
for Enigma Galaxy. Some strong rotations were coming through for this team. However, when you looked at them further in towards the group, getting red so easily, time and time again. I think that's the final player from Enigma Galaxy about to go down soon, but Reject.
Oh, Brexit coming up with a please. Kalap with a charge.
Meku's on the side. Swan tries to swing out. Lovely nade. Will take down Meku.
Napri Tadzia. Ale tu nade nghe đến rồi đôi nade về đón. Anh nade về đón. Alle. 1 XP. Thì đón chiang lúc tụ goodbye, good night, tonight. Oh.
Nothing to defend himself with, all off the back of Cluck's nades there. So nice retake on the compound. That was smart in the way he used his utility, and that's unlucky for the Gladiators. So Jason Kaplan's prediction there not coming true, Blank, because they've gone down without a single elim on that one. Got a bit too big for their boots.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, but they've slowed it down, as I asked them to. Well done. You know, this is more the Gladiators we're used to, you know, going down in the first 2 stages. That's great. Brilliant. Now, do something a little bit more next game. Maybe revert back to, you know, making not the greatest rotations. To be fair, that wasn't bad by any stretch of the word. I quite liked it. Unfortunately for them, I think you make that rotation a little bit too
han lắc gì đấy không anh avahan bar
with the vibe there with Matic and Tixi, who are not up front and personal with Kitsune and Meku, and you just get shot at by teams on the side trying to get in towards that warehouse that UDO Alliance, quite frankly, had already had a lot of control over.
Sao nó sai lần rất chém về anh split chia hin mềm hay lắc gì theo hi lắc gì theo split chia hin mềm anh la đi ở rem mẹ red face le link sa sang in oma lắc gì le jack gì mi kha anh đủ na anh split through hem ba anh còn zon chẳng zok cái này pan thầy turin anh còn pa anh position hold then NASR thì thế hi and hold zao da hi
little bit.
Compound hết ta an hold up in high ground atang la boka tikhan in colet thai to ren. Enge em tia tiang I view one nei sao thì mày mo.
Feels like you're being forced further and further back, and rejects know they're being hunted on this one. Trying to play with at least some map geometry to give them cover, as Nasser are definitely roaming quite far out and looking to gain a good understanding of where everyone is stationed.
Guys, as it's locked tam to khain hu ve lo mem. Oh.
And then having a backup position to
Brexit chu lar tol tu ga thame ola pui ve dia kal mei te min out san mak mai ni mo.
I mean, his entire team basically got picked to pieces instantly. So I suppose it's
Old
best
boy
case
means
scenario,
lo
how
Brexit
far can he
ya.
go, right? Because
Yeah,
looking at a
chu
placement
ho sa da za me chom
with
don.
this
Ki
one,
ta
pretty
ki
early, gonna be a
message
while
pin
before
kha nu la guys
we
message pin
come
kha.
to that point.
Yeah, I do think it definitely comes back to that case of Enigma Galaxy. A lot of their rotations getting read into towards the end of their group and not making too many adjustments off the back
BTR
of
an
that.
swa san hi
Again,
an
even
tuar
in
he
the
dom
group, there's a lot of
ti ton
bigger
ne
teams down
jaksi
towards the
lag
bottom
zi
as
ta
well, which just allows them
ni
to
pom
make
han
these
phatala.
rotations. And I think you try and do the same thing again here in the survival stage, where every single team is very willing to take shots and has great gun skill. Remember, these are the best teams in the world, all fighting out for a place in the grand finals to really display what their region, what their team has to offer to everyone that wants to watch. So I think that for Enigma Galaxy, again, it's just a case you can't just randomly rotate over heals. You need to have a bit of scouting going on. You need to ensure you know exactly where some of these teams might be playing, so you can angle yourself in such a way that you can cross and be out of the line of sight of some of these squads that might take shots towards you. If we see it again next match from Enigma Galaxy, where they make a random rotate like that and start losing players out the back of the vehicle, I would be
Brexit tham yêu la pui ve te
this is another
Brexit cho ya cho lo ela mo cho e mi la cho e pui ka chak vai ho nge heng ho i thiam global thu ka lo vai ho na thuk lo lu to
Give the whole squad a
Kai idana
facelift
ya.
in such a short space of time, right? I don't really think there is enough adjustments that could be made to really change things around quick enough.
ai sin BTR mi lo om ka
It feels
hemi
like
alo
we're already getting to that point where, you know, the fine
MGC
line
player
around
rian switch up
what
ho hi
squad
tiang ho
that
ka
have
hlom
already
mi lo
accumulated points,
hey
especially
zone chu
for
zone po na
great
tiang ate hem mi so te su kan lom thin vai ho te po
being there to make a
zone po
case
na
for
mo
yourself, just having to sit
zone po na
pretty
mu
and
turan
simple
om mi lo ni
with the
h
points
ai
you've already
h om po yan
accumulated.
tam lo zia hin mo h an play dan po hin hu in hu
We're seeing that
I
they haven't
view
been
an nei
able to
that
cut
zia
across,
hi
they haven't been able
I
to really
cover
build
an
enough
pe zau lu
points.
tu
But
an in veng zau lu tu tian ha zone at chia kami zir zia kan player om dan an in switch up zir zia kan an in form up char ne dei ene sar po angai bok in ni hi open field ta pakhat o ma reach line na compound na pakhat o ma compound ads hei turin bridge bula panin om ta bridge bul mi pakhat khan en pot le ta bridge alo kem ta bridge mi ga en pui thai bok ta an in ven thal zia hi wa kali je o engum zia under 5-3 ne team ni chu ti dia wa sa brazil so all boy oho en galas na ba gen hi po ngom bi fa mang thiam da jom poi no om pong ka jo lo kha mani a po PMGC a hian ni ga ria snipe den rem khopa amaro chu sniper hi chu effective thui ka ti lo ireng galanga chuan competitive a chuan I sniper ka choice na hi chu competitive a chuan I englawa chi miramara chi chu po kai ma tak phei jong mang ngai to lo DMR ka choice jok ma san jo finish ngal du phei chuan ei knock finish ang chi phei chuma and oh hole an mani zo in tuar ta dei mai
continues to take shots and will finish it there and then. Broken leg regardless.
Lamborghini de hol ma in ko oh hole squasha dan nol mai in la thiam a ti to mai a mang hin tam lo yo sniper hi to in san chu effective lo em lom
They've crashed more literally, just straight into the faces there.
sniper hi mi zo za su si thiam ka ti ma na an reverse ai bon a thathin ka ti khop mai a in la sim ka hello RIP a po khan sniper a khan reverse ani ka he om thin kha ka he so lo chuan
and reset the utility they've got to work with, so they're going to be content. Meanwhile, back on the move, Xenox, he's been pretty damn quick with his scouting. He's been able to take some point man
An
positions.
scout zao thei boka o cover angle hi jom in an nei zao thin mala.
Wants to put pressure on, squash you so low outside the play zone as well. So a single bullet he was hoping for, try and make that elimination. His doesn't go.
Huai se zone, hay zone che chak lo na lama jon zone po na po. A zone in la zone ani o.
He's got a read on him, trying to take a couple of shots off. Doesn't want to do this as a
Di
solo.
plus kia po ha duai lo khop India ron cham ha. Duai thei lo sum sum.
Really being the big pressure.
Tu tinga chu ka sa chuang mi lo ba.
Because they've got to move further in, but they know as soon as they start to head over towards the top side of this lip, they're going to be in angles of a lot of other teams that are inside the lobby. Free key
Kap cheve ha jo Africa Nigma Galaxy ni.
His western side, you got Duxan as well, but Becca very happy to try and take this fight with an incredible hold versus these other squads.
Chill mia to mai nia. Zo chu ni la sira kan la bok te teng chu edge play kan pei lu do. Vampire hu in khelam le Vampire hi an qualify so to hi jo survival stage. Osal po khamo a teammate te kha awan duai ka ti ke ju ama chu thal tu ka ma se a teammate te kha tun PMG sia de han osal kha a khel chemi alo ni ma kha ju a teammate te khan a teammate te a khel thadang khan a teammate te khel thalo ka ti ke engine a jo ma DBS chu nar se ti khop mai dik chi drop spot a drop air drop a lai kha tok view ka ti.
When it's a good sort of mix up for them as well, when they come in playing off each other's comms very nicely, it's very fun to watch. So having a center position, having firearms in their hands as well, we'll see if they can bring the heat, if they can command respect the longer this one goes on. FaZe back on the move as well, looking to set themselves up as the smokes will be cast out bit by bit. Redface looking like he wants to try and at least have
Hole in call DS in call chakang.
The engagement here though is
DS zo in dang pup mai. Tan che de mole DS last hello in call last. Tan che thui lo we. A finish le man thau.
The Brazilian side move from the situation
In
now.
call zo de.
Out again. That's unlucky in the end there. Inco, of course, 4 hard to even make it here, Blank, and they are getting a bit bullied. Similar sort of things.
Shotgun mang thiam hi chu mon mu nom rim
Again,
the ball barrel de pui thei gan ti khoba an mang thiam vela mi la shotgun hi man fu zau kan nei ve zau zau ti lo zo shotgun mang thiam lo ve tak so kan ni anal mo va kap tra em fantic chu
laying him low outside the circle will delay them a lot, making this very uncomfortable.
Lamborghini te ho players chen ni mi lo ni
Besiege Evo's taking shots over
DXL
towards
here.
FaZe, who are currently huddled up over towards a very small shack at the moment. The shots even coming
Life
from
got
Spec
top
here
mal
on
do
Acer.
o sa khoi team ngai du ber international la international zo va du berti tu kan lo ma se tu la nga zo 4MV hi
I think for
ka on de ber tu na chuan tu dim huna chuan 4MV hi mu nom ka ti dokale apex sim mu nom ka ti mo kai ma hian
specifically just to be able to see the twins there on the grand stage once again. But 28 points, that won't cut the bacon just yet. They need a little bit more on board, and with this very central position they currently hold, this is a fantastic game to rack up some big elimination points, to rack up themselves a good amount of placement points too. You know, this should be a second, third, first place game guaranteed.
Oh,
it needs to be. It needs to come to fruition in that manner.
Hello.
Setting themselves up nicely on this one. So can they coax it out? Big point scorer from this one. What's going to happen here in the close quarters engagement with so many teams shoulder to shoulder, all pushing down? As soon as that zone starts nipping at their heels as well, it will cause problems. Isn't much breathing room, so you've got to fight for what you want. Pushing in now on reject, looking to try and swoop in and steal the compound from underneath them. The nade will aggress first. Julo ready with the shot heat as well. The building is burning. Lufa waits up close.
Yes.
Didn't even see that one, Blank. Swings round the corner, hits him, takes him off his legs.
Hello.
Genocio turns for the back door.
Shotgun hi chumo amang thiam tak tak a jong ai double barrel tu ka shotgun a jong mu nom ti ka nei lo ram an amang thiam tak tak jo entera thina te mo kha voi khat ka an thal pop pop thai ne shot double barrel le ka hi na boka rengin hole third party thenga din chil pop to mai troi bul sanga te ren en troi bul sei pakhat tor khan bang ve se do kha hole an man hoi ve tu te kha hole ds juni pa poi mi lar hole pop me troi bul kam bang har ka te re ni star khan achiang mo and then third party ka duo join third party pop maya an van bon hello man an loi chu bon phim ling zo lo ta po hi mon nom an van mol tak kami da enge open a fentik te khan kala chin lo ga dx1 oman kap klumol mola team chen ni lo pani nan ni le ha dx 9 kills on nei to pani nan ne full squad in ladam zoi Lamborghini ka ho sami lo time out lo ti khang nang darlin hi darlin
smart heads up plays at least. Even though they go down in the fight, you can see the gun skill, the mechanics there were out in full force. Nice intense compound crash though leads us into the rest of the game as FaZe again continue applying pressure. Chow's been overwhelmed, gets bitten to pieces. It's actually Evos are able to steal away the final tag onto that. So getting the extra elim for their troubles.
FaZe is qualify ka ring lo DX sports players pani lo in chan ve ton ma ro tai so siam lo ma
into the center, getting themselves closer and closer, and just trying to play off whatever geometry will actually provide.
BTR an chua san tang khan mo an game he ma phato lo mi te
Someone lurking, waiting to peek, and he's got contact on Star. Quick flick there, hits the head blank and shuts the man down.
down na ve nge da pani chu BTR an chua san hu khan mo an kan hiam poison transi o PGF lắc gì thế do đến trận luận đó anh nói chứ FaZe nó mà sen tan rồi extend ngâm na chín xí đó Louis Silva quay về là vì gì cái gì na DX thom nó bị phá lan avahan vom nó là em
placement point 16 at limbs. This is a game where you want to pump those limbs up, even if it means you get yourself a second place.
And thi chiang thi lo thi don chiang lut tuk ha
out on the loose.
Pop to me
Find a quick pot shot over towards FaZe because currently it's a 4-player team.
Ti ra hang ka pri lo se ti fu zong ma le NHP po zo full squad in ladam NHP tan chuan zone cheta se airdrop cover an la thaya ni lo chuan zone in tan lo chuan airdrop cover an la thaya pakhatin chuan pakhatin airdrop cover hi la thei se chuan PGF hi ultimate an nei hi ADS thei dora pakhatin rich la thei don boka ase risky view ka lak zin ron mata 3 kills ani BTR la par kha kai tu lai tare sa jo tha ka tibere tive tu tiang in BTR la mi ka va belu tuk lo tu na hian ka en lo wang mo PMGC la mi ti meng international li tun PMGC ni wang hen ka en tran le
You've got a couple of angles of connection here as well. Spec being one of them as he's firing off the warning shots.
Hepa tan hi jo smoke zong song la se di form chun mai thom no hi an niawi phal mi alo ni boy ngar hen tan ne sol china hian tiang hawa hian
FaZe come pushing up, you could try and get stuck into it, especially if the timing works for the push down from Spec and they draw his attention. Lots of small nuances on this one, but
BGMI limited server tharma to phi khel thei se hey hemite tira ka soi mal mola motor nei tlem nge ni atira khan cover kha pakhatin enga kha ki airdrop cover ki pakhatin motor mangin siam box se chuan ati mai te khian close in kha se ti la hi lakzi ma che hi reach omta chinak soyang khan ADS nen rich nen beyang an fight lut thei turania tui kha ma he chu he ti rain rich in la dei thei khan ya nei tudon lo a tu lo
very good initial nade that sent out but FaZe on the back line they're not looking to give this game up another amazing
chiang en thlo phei pop to mai se
and red FaZe is just sending
avan nal don khát tí khá mò ăn là đôn cái tí khá ăn ul same sẽ lắc gì bé rất luôn face là mình thắt ăn thắt party hun tây anh nula ví dụ rồi phải tira kill feed kan en tầm lậu gì tây alang thằng cái này rồi tira en ta thom nen kill feed nen ăn thắt party hal pop pop mấy này and Mizoram tiga vật xỉa đón cho là face more man red face anh hạ nan to misery tan chọn tiền muốn nó thật to lâu tôi chọn thật lâu am fan nè thật lâu mà này đi biểu cả ngày những ngày ông khóc này nó mà next G chui live door để Zanin chui live door lâu ô
have some additional numbers in this battle to play with. Quick nice peek up. Beautiful damage done with the AR.
Sẽ dính làm mà về là dính làm mình cặp tụi đó cái tí không à. Misery này 1v1 tụi đó đi ra đó DBS versus UMP sao cái tí sang misery. Vamos ito em. Hole không có. Ta party hu to cái rồi này chi lu rô. Pakhat chen to ni vom paper po the finalize traffic si ai just để thada throw do chicken pui thấy si tui ông về tui ông lút tục cái revive lẹ vết nó just ông to ra sang cái link ski thiệt thế này lậu nó là pan char mà lại revive tiran tum lâu mà lại kia po va hau tak ai revive vết man si tụi live don Zanin hay hết ta hi cái pin kia cái pin vết bằng khiên guys.
Man, that could have been a chicken dinner there for Udo Alliance, and Olio just needed a little bit more confidence to try and go in and bruise the pride there of Procedure Evos.
Băng lăng spectate mode anh lâu nị vá nha. Hey jo anh jo anh khó rồi report hả mà.
Surround and litter the battlefield. No meds available for Misery other than those stims available for
esports anh lâu băng gan nha.
3v1
4v1 thấy răng tụi mà lại nghe in revive mấy sẽ hết pa lại hun này trả tầm băng trăng cay là vợ thì xóa là one v 3 lệ thầy om tè xí là vợ có vòng này chỗ sân để tổ box xí open là call down box xí cái anh thầm thôi anh sleep thiêng là xem ta mà mình sẽ point hay tiếng hip hop lâu về là thằng grass in hụ tới hit all đâu ngắt thầm thầm liền hạt anh vào đôi đó nữa.
They're playing a more fragmented system, just looking for the trade. There's the contact, it seems. Bullets being spammed into the smoke. So just a bit of a pre-fire. Longevity on this one being played.
Hey, cái live tới chú.
You've got the time to work.
Casting cái đó lâu.
See what he can get done here.
Yeah, I mean,
em phải là BGMI sao bộ khăn một qualifying match thì khăn thom nó thắc phal là như thế em i qualify tụ khăn thom nó lâu thắc phal kha anh cheer lâu làm gì khăn một phú một cái đó ha clutch don lâu chiang nó tụ cái gì ha
you know, at least 2 limbs off the back of that if he just tried to flush 2 of the players.
Lại in level very me. Nào chút tiếng lắm anh lâu guys. Quarter sick na sa lom, cái tuần na sa lom. Đâm tắc sa chào luôn tụi con bò. Đâm lâu na sa luôn tụi ca.
No, it's very true, right? There is no worse outcome. There's nothing that's going to result in you getting less.
Taksa ha dam ve tir do klek ka mamoa tin ka soi tong khan ka mamor walin kesarin promote thil poi moni mo khawang khan thei topin kesing ti chu chau thla ka ni match tam tak han tong char hi lo chau thla lu tu ka tang dewa an ti phei chu wang chuanin I han in promote na chan sani boka tin chante te keral te te phei chu in la hramang lawang ke pon ka lo hramei lova khatiang khan thei ang kan in promote ve na angani chu mi sma ji kha star ve mi os ka chiar zo lawang mi bum min tum zia ni japon ni min bum to el rako bok hi mi mian dam lo ve ma PMGC watch party ti hian ti zo zo ro ho BMPS la ma hoi ve le to thuang en ve le chenang
speaking of how the teams are stacked up, it seems like Sky from Team Do or Die is quite close. It's dangerously close to Team Hindustan Gaming as well. And if he does manage to get survived from the shots coming in from Hindustan Gaming,
Team Flix
not just one, they're
Team Flix atai ti na mi
very careful about the third party potential.
PMGC watch party tour boom chiang boom chiang lutuk 80% na boom male player so 80% bo high ground nan in chua in chu tak me ven chua po let chian zia hi he lai picado high ground la hin van nei don hi mi te khi Braden te hi an la thei ni chuan van nei don chuan picado lut ma san van nei tel boka.
What I have noticed is that hardships are always followed by hardships. So I'm going to be interested to find
so
out
group A and B team oma share them china khan kan lo share chua share the next G official ti kha Instagram a khan lo enru ta khan road map te eng kim ain ziak lang ve kani
can be game breaking for the side of Hindustan Gaming and Delta. He is being
luxury josi parabo Horizon anom ho lo ing ka
so long, not a single shot fired. Harry and Avi, they can be spotted out in Delta. We know he has
zon jana boom turu e kha jo
it's going to be
avan kap che em Delta Justin ni jok se kap kha don nang e bahat kap che em potato ve
all of a sudden find themselves running
potato Justin ni jok se to kha jo
a few moments ago towards the same position where
John thana chu ni se kap khapu bang kha
was also present. Well, guess what? They're right
avan
ahead
kap
of 7S.
potato ve Delta ja zak ve mo tang
Hit markers against
khami trace tha zo lo kha jo
Delta that all right fine, a lot of damage has been done. If you want, you can actually chase down this particular team, but seems like Hindustan Gaming, they're quick on their feet, quick on their driving seat as well. And speaking
balu ju vaden ve
DOD,
amma ina lut pop mai thian te ADS phak lo in
completely wiped the hell out of Team T7S even without witnessing anything about it. And all because of that man right there. Balu was responsible for the 3
na
finishes
se
in that
athian
fight.
te
We're
ve
talking
thung ju
about
lo
finishes
tlu
and
thung lama
feels like Titan FTW. Will they be able to survive for the
blin
win?
an oma
Nano Baby is not going to be there
GDR
to see
an
if
oma
that happens for his team. He's going to be finished off in
blin
the
the ball
Gaming.
chicken din ate
First
ke chu
finish
blind
off
an ti ra
with
blin ni ka
this,
ti le
Jody
thi
from the distance, putting up a lot of
atep
pressure on
na
the
le
Hindustan
balu ju vaden ve
Sky is already close to
thodle
the
tu
opposition.
tep thol pop pop mai
Make things worse.
nei mang khan that
Trying
chiang
to pin down in the middle of nowhere. The spray not connecting. 9 bullets left in that M4, which is over to the Molotov, looking to see if he can
pang chu dam chuak lo to bang
from behind that smoke. But that's not even going to be the points of
Khaba.
concern. This is the second squad wipe that has gone
What
into
body
the hands
phalo ni
of Team
top
Do
ha
or
ro
Die. It was
oh
kind of a team play between them and Hindustan Gaming because they were the ones who started things off. Do or
Yeah.
Die was there to wrap things up.
Yeah, I think for Team Do or Die, they sort of have like a flip switch where they can change into absolute monsters whenever they want.
The name says Do or Die, Salt.
kha chu bagi ya loot stock ve ni kha
Oh yeah, I kind of missed that out. I think they
Zone
kind
hian
of live
ka
by the
apot
name of
apot
when
let
they
le
won
zon em boom na sal lo ve
and now we have a hardship towards the south. It seems like
up down ni na potan ni got lom le ti ra southern side lai nek ma ka
sort of been
northern side a an tan chau le me ka southern side la mai pot thale zon em boom kwal char
the rotation inside the circle. Look at the way
Yeah.
they are moving in, right? Justin slowly scouting out the related regions, but
I life ka ti
on
to
the
ha
other
ro
side,
oh
wait,
bo boy
that
khak to
thought for
thi
a
na
second.
oh
Team Esports, they were not really involved in the fight. What was S-Power doing over there?
That is not surprising, to be honest. I mean, I've seen that
I bet to
happen
em belaw la ba lo mi
man who's known for his firepower is also known for making the most risky plays in the game. That was again
e Sean Kingston ron kal do local ve teng
key bit of information on the opposition does get
Ting di ang ele ya
used to
la
this,
mo
they
la
know how to deal with a fiasco like this.
tin
but
fak ka biak
now,
don
again,
ben beru
as we keep talking about S-Power
Da
coming back
sariti
to
ka.
while he was not there,
panin lo
Rory
chan
and
to ni
Naval
hi
carried
IGL
out
le
the mantle for Blind Esports. made sure that
Shoulder
their
and
team was
shoulder.
still called one of
A
the
shoulder vekin ni main
Now
kari
it's
a
time
blin
for
hi
these
jo
two men to step up.
ten lu
I
do
believe
ga
they can. I mean, I believe they can too as well, but the only problem is they are about 200 meters outside the circle and their entry point has
du
been
ta
flooded
team
with
manager ma
content.
voice
One
cheer
of them is
tour
doing great esports. We can see
next
them
quarter
on the
final
radar.
chu exam he
And
tan
have a
tour
look at this FSE sports. They know exactly where
khi hey hey hey
are
hetai
as
ka pin
well.
hi
So
o ka pin ang kian o
two players are going to be
ke man ka live do lo
annoyed
ki a live
and
to tour group
divert
A
their
le group
attention
B
or
live to
also
tour
find an
channel
opening slot. But look at this, on the other side, it seems to be an artillery
channel
warfare
ming ka pin
between
khali
Team
o
Silly and 4TR. This
Yeah,
is our
man.
favorite team from BGI as 4 troublemakers. They're back to cause a lot of trouble, and this time they're looking to cause trouble for the
silly
players
huh?
of
team silly
But they're on
dang
the
dai
wrong
thai
end of things now. 2 players knocked out. 1 has been finished off already. Foul looking to
Ah,
knob
ay,
another.
tulong mo le.
Going to be dropped extremely low. Rage, he's still hiding inside the smoke,
At
but it's
nal
a very
mo.
difficult position for 4
Ano ito?
troublemakers to bring themselves back into this game.
Rage should din
Rage
mo na
is gonna
chete
have to accept the fact that he is going to be finished off in this fight, and here is the push from
chichiang
Silly,
lutuk
and
oy
it's
oy
going to be a very silly play, but they do end up winning the fight.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing which was going in the favor of team 4TR in that situation was the fact that they were sort of on the right side of the circle, but Team Silly had all the other advantages: man advantage, utility advantage, and positional advantage as well. And hell, I mean,
So, kung
4TR
wala, video
were
team
also
Lisa
caught in
siya,
a
Tim.
crossfire situation,
Next
crossfire
G official
situation,
account
situation,
next G
and
official
FSC
ti kha Instagram
background.
khan
But now
roadmap
Private
te
FS,
team list te
I think
da
this
vek
team is
ani
sort
o
of holding the most ideal spot inside the circle. Of course, if it does shift, we will have to find another one. But what a brilliant spray down coming in from Coffin. It was precise, it was accurate, and it was deadly. And of course, Knuckle had to survive the brunt of it.
Oh, he's looking for a few more. Coffin has made sure that any player that dares cross his crosshair is not going away unscathed. Damage is out to the players of Great Esports as well.
damage
Down to
a
40
top
HP.
te a
That team
peshan
is
mo
gonna
le
still survive with around 60. But the players of FS, they need to be careful. Look at that, Salty. They're running out of ammo
lai
now.
mu nei tle mai sia mo tar bo jo
Funnily enough, I've actually turned this little piece of compound into the air traffic control, where they kind of rotate every single traffic movement out there. The rotations which are happening, it is
pin ro
their
ka ti je
decision
khai
who
van nei
they
pui
let pass by and
tu
who
nai
they
fe su ka
finish
vat
off.
choi
Of course,
se
we just witnessed Knuckle being brought down, but the circle shift
Loki hi
in favor
active to
of
tu ra
both
nga yang
FS
share hal ro
Esports
live
and
link te
Silly. I think
6k subscribers
interesting
kan
not
ka har
to
to
guess.
khom mai guys nga ting ni
ESG
nga share sak su chu to 6k subscribers let's go
They have been
ila
absent from all the action,
Oh!
ah holle
capitalize. Speaking of capitalizing, Riot, my man, just
pakhat chu that
walks
man
in,
blin
not just walks in, he
double
drives
chicken
in
din ar
and
low pot
completely
back to back
runs
low
over
pot
team blind and
ni
then
si Tony
goes for a
ML
second
fans min ngai
consecutive
tha big
performance.
em
Talk
mai
about
lo
a
how te
hard-hitting
info
exit,
che
and
big
that was a literal bust.
ML in charge
Being
ni kha ka
that
chumo ML in
situation.
charge how hi
That
nga
is
ting
just
ni
gonna be
oh
happening with the refills that he gets.
BGMI in charge kan han that te reng nen info dong tha ni BGMI in charge chu ten lai info kan in pe bok
Just one elimination, and they're also down to their last player. But we'll talk about that in a bit, because look
BGMI
at
hi
what is
chu
unfolding in front of our eyes.
Mizoram
There's
esports
an
ai cha
Enigma game
alian
being
na ni
pushed
hi ti
forward
top
by
mai
the
te
players of
tru
WSB, who
apuya
looks
ni
like have failed to
aho
notice
lebron na
that
chu
FS
vat lu
right
ta ve
behind them on the flank.
This might just be a kamikaze mission, to be honest, because Enigma
vai ho hi sa uman du ve ne hai po sa uman ni tlet
WSB is not aware of it. They're only aware of LeBron and Somya's position, which might actually help them get blindsided by FS Esports as well on the right-hand side. WSB, too much of a difficulty to get into, but they also have to get inside the circle, so the pressure that they're applying is perfect. And so far it seems like the smokes are sort of giving them some sort of an information of where the split is, so they have been able to identify too many players being knocked out in that situation as well. I think Hindustan Gaming's Harry is there as well. So
Yeah.
this is an absolute mess, an absolute chaos. Too many teams
sada
with
za next
very
G2
close
final
proximity.
ha final fa za ina final la khel dol mai ne
Team together,
mod
esports,
zoi
they
sonic
wanna be
swag
together,
mod
but
pe
then
lo de
look
sai
at
ko
this.
ti ang reng lo mod te
So
zong
many teams
oh
are
kha kha enta chu
justified
ai
breaking
fight like oh kha kha
towards that southeastern edge.
team
Great,
seal ne ni mo fight hi
Gladiator
GDR
Esports, my
GDR
boy
kha
was
nge
brought
khan
a
lam
few
pum
of
kha
their
kan
players
thei hil
that
thut
were
chu
knocked out.
gladiators
Esports,
anim kha
but they're
gladiator
on
kha
the
ding
back,
ka
but
thia
this time it's gonna
oh
be
ni gladiator Justin pe
Megastars Gaming that are going for the push. Shogun with the shotgun was trying to handle the pressure. But
Shogun with the shotgun. Come on, Destro. Kap
on
che to
his
su
feet along with Justin, but the wall of smoke is separating these two teams.
Nice
from each other.
ve.
Based on the sound cues, Destro connects the shot. Needs to be careful. One more man inside the smoke in the form of Blacks. One of the best players from the side of Team Mega
Nalutukan say there's no han
stepping out when the team needed it the
asilai
most.
muron rig na han set bel chiang rem ve
Clutchmeisters in this situation, of course, just still
eng ho nge
into
BMPS
and just shooting out
ML
there
to
in the
India
light.
an official
The
to
smokes,
miao
of
lo
course,
lom
are not going to deter him, but it seems like there is another team
Mizoram
who
aja
has
sa
high
ai
hopes of
anom nei
doing that.
nem
It's going to be team together
an ni ju sa
esports.
ming anin phua tlat mai ni mo ami zo sa he sok si hi sa ming ju kanin phua du big thak lo
No time to reset for the Gladiators. They have to pick things up extremely
Gladiator
quickly
zo an
against
man
the
mo
players of
le
TTE.
ngai don ni hi
And as you
zona
mentioned,
ron
they
cha
have
mai
the
do awan nei thatrin ve justina nei tule to
to help him secure the finish. And oh, the finish was not secured. The players of TTE just completely backed off and hit themselves on the other side of the ridge. Now this is very interesting, but this was also the
Miss Julie po ron lang vele lo mai lom re phong nuwa
Is going to be backing off from this fight because look at this circle. It just shifted away from these two teams, and now they have an extremely tough job in hand. And I think Gladiators, they sort of realize that you can see that they are.
oh sar kha
already
elo
in
kha
their
message kha
weak
ron thon
trying to
ja
get
isi
inside
si
the
lawa i
circle
pool
and
ele pool b ti
prioritizing
kha shan ve
their
ve
good
tu
positioning. But I wonder how they are going to do so,
Mi shan
especially
ve
with
live don
ASG in prime spot, and that is exactly what I was fearing. Shogun was brought down and finished off in a matter of a flash, Johnny.
ASG, the only team with good cover to work.
re mi re kho mai mi Julie hi om to lo mo ka tim han lo e
On that compound. Team together.
sa e sar kan lo siang kum thara chon sa om clan kan hu be se
Extremely careful with FS being present on the flank, and of course, look at the radar. They've left one man from the side of Gladiators behind to cause trouble.
an che hi athani ju tian han che vel abot ve thai male
The fact that Shogun was sort of attracting so much attention by trying to
oh atira khan tia lai hian china khan mania te khan om ranga sin le chua san lo sa e anu mem kha ai e om le lo hi mi lo zo ka chap compound apia compound zo kan
Para BTC and Savvy plays, of course, so much experience coming in, which they carried in from CSC Sports.
oh ngati ngai full bot
And now this man is down.
va thiam lo thak thing ngati ngai full body pi ka side peak ta che
Hades and Pegasus looking
Nei,
to
thi
see
don
if they
chiang
can
nó tụt
find
air ziêu
and
kha.
drag the players of TTE down to the depths of Tartarus, but
ai class
it's
do
not
lo
working
chiang
out
nó
too
tụt
well
va han
for
bot
them. TTE,
MASG mi kha
Psychic going for an impressive push. This has
ang
one
full
more
body
player
ka
left
pop
to
pop
deal
zele
with.
kha tiang
He
peak
knows
se
exactly
all
where
sam lu
Pegasus
tu gina
is.
finish
Shot
a
coming
kap
in,
lu
his teammates are down,
thai
and
to
it's
ne
gonna be Savvy
ha
plays
thi don chiang
to
tu ti
put
ha thi
final
chiang
nail in
reng
the
mo
coffin. 14 eliminations on Team Together Esports. What has
Tot
happened
lisa
to
se
this team? All
them
of a
sar
sudden,
ele
an
vi
impressive
hi
turnaround of the entire situation in the
next
top
G
three,
official
looking for more
ti
eliminations.
Instagram account na khan lo
More
enroll guys ta khan
eliminations
om
for
rek
sure, but
aro
John,
mem
to be
zong zong
honest,
ne
I have to say this. I'm not surprised. We've seen Team CSC
Do
Sports pop off
ani
in
reng
the last
oh
season
mi
with
Julie
this, with Para and Savvy in the lineup.
Yes.
It seems like this time
tu na mi
they're
pa kha
doing
chu
something
asira kha tia lo kem pa kha ASG mi kha bot clan hawai pon a bot zo
Although one guy, it's not really something to shy away, but look at this, Dazit in the middle of so much pressure.
Is in the middle of pressure, but he's dealing with it all on his own. Team Silly. They've lost two players, Ace Black, Aim God.
BMP sa khel phachin dan zo kha tiang mai mai buai chi ni to na BMPS line khel pha tiangan buai ta zon T1 team ti chal chi ni na chau ve le zak lo e zo na ngai hlir ngai veli i chang to ke chon ni la ka chan pe ka to an soi ngun ve to vel ko mai tro a om na ai slot list ti vel te lai hun to te
fighting out for the 15 points for the chicken dinner.
Fighting out for
Sao mới lâu
glory.
một
This
về
is game
ô
for glory,
anh
John,
này
and it seems
active phốt cho cái một em
sort
mà
of a Mexican standoff
hay
right
tu là
now.
6k
It's
subscribers thì
trying
bên
to
trong cài càn thum đó là cái thầy đâu á
I think it's
Một,
going to be the biggest stakeholders in it.
một active đâu
Favoring majority of it to TTE
cho
because
nên là ta thằng em ngay đâu
it's a
dụ
circle, but also a
Cắn vào
little
một.
bit of a hard cover to work with. For FS, it's a monumental task, and it seems like they've sort of defined how they
FS
are
làm cho
to
đình
fight
hồn.
out Team Silly Esports. They're making their moves.
chả
they're
chỗ là what
showing
chả
their
chỗ là
purpose
team
as
tình
well.
zone chốn chẳng
Utility
thầy với cả mà sẽ
first
FS
man goes
ăn
down
position
to
hết chết
FS.
bé ra
It's
này
mayday for
zone ăn
them.
trần là
Ace
hi
Black, he gets his
silly how
revenge.
silly how
Hitman
yên
is gonna
fight
knock
lụ
down
ngày
with a
ngay
beautiful nade coming in from the side of Team Silly, but Turbo, look at them go for a push right now while these two teams are still
sẽ silly po hiền ăn
How
push ngot thầy
find
lo
that
open field ăn cả là ngay
opening
đó na lệ là
out
mà
the finishes.
TTE nằm
Team
box
Together
ya
Esports, they're just holding on to that luxurious
Vai mấy mẹ rồi, vai mấy
compound
mẹ rồi,
there. They're waiting to see
Ra
how
sắp
the
bên này
story
man.
is gonna unfold. The
Eng.
Molotovs are there to
Hey,
deny
5 point za
any push that was expected from the side of Team Silly. But wait,
za ang vel kan lam mo 6k tur hian mo
getting close to the ridge.
No, but there's Aim God. He is is there right behind.
Cái xã hội cho thiếu là chút phát tăng anh mà xem mà nhiều rồi nụp lang bùi.
And it seems like the rest of the
Cái nụp mi. BMP Sport Team khan lâu penic về thấy rất là lòng đi. Amai channel khăm một lẽ ama cái channel kha 16k 15k 16k tỷ chấu về anh đi tổ. Cái channel chả ta khá chứ. Anh nal hit mẹ khăn. Khi anh đi high ground anh này thấy đó smoke anh này tổ miệng lâu nghe. Lại hi smoke dễ sẽ lùng mang khiên. Có phải anh là thầy tổ anh là thầy đó nam position chút thằng silly house on move thầy đó. Mà sẽ bây lẽ đâu bọc chú thôi bù sẵn này tóm miệng là vì cả tí nó rộn lẽ chia sẻ FS lắm sai cả thiên là mau ôm hi sẽ lâu nghe anh ôm khom gì hi nghe số này cái này chúng ta sẽ đủ chân này chỉ làm rộng mấy tủ rồi nè mình lâu rồi bây lâu TT ngay tiếng FS lắm rồi rất là này là 4v4 anh nhớ zone tết tỏ dễ ở stage 8 ball là 4v4 anh nhớ ít men lên đâu Hole
and now they are being cooked down to a crisp. That was a barbecue session for Team TT Esports, but
FS chicken đó em
beautiful shot that was.
FS chicken nó suốt thái anh tiếng turbo khát thì zone khát đi cần kế lần ring số một tuần đuôi kha lên FS số RIP học tỷ na mình đi lâu FS team thar anh player sẵn là thara thì cái tên khán suộc tám à lúc đó là nên sắm ra tới ăn xem tiếng nghe channel khá siết chăng mình report sa kan oma Surya down na lutung hun lo DBS se reload to ma ta che DBS mam ta che mol lian thua khol iba han atak
Team FS secure the elimination, but we all know the numbers advantage in the hands of
FS sẵn chặt đó là chiang tục
too much.
han mol cái tiếng reload lẹ sa
mà together they played together, they won the chicken dinner off the map of Miramar. Team Together Esports, an impressive win coming from this team. A lot of eliminations,
and you know they just worked so hard for this, to be honest, because you've got to give it to that one little move up against Team ASG, right? Nobody expected it. If you stitch down Team TTE and their performance throughout, right, it came down to some micro adjustments, it came down to some micro decisions which sort of helped them give that luxury in the end. It seems like it was a cakewalk in that final fight, but how did they manage to find that position? First, that fight against Gladiators, second, that fight against ASG, and then that trifecta. It's not easy to do everything right in one game.
Again, and especially it was very easy to get overheated and overconfident when you're seeing the Finnish feet pop off and you're seeing those knocks happen and you know trade.
Tarmit vua hi hepa hi mo India a BGI semi English ke stara so ani tuk ka hello salty tuk hi ka hello a tha hi ka ba han ti tak mutui u lo ti to me ya sun ka tang ber ni esi thar lo ni van i ju sab de to khan ka sarang ani esi thar ani mo he bul tang an tan thale re lui chu na no sar ka soi chu pressure sang to se panic vec to panic na tham an lo hey de week 1 day 2 chau lan ni ti nga lo panic tran de chu stay sang champion noi som dong tur chon en dong lo to pang
Absolutely.
Come on, Misters, welcome back. PMGC ka en liang dar soma ridom mut ma in match khat en liang. Dar soma dar ru le chan ve chau ni hi. Nui bal ve thon. Ti. En liang helam.
The quest convoy hard on the tail blank, looking to see
Mel
if they
thatel
can
bok ni.
fight this one
Salty
back,
luk hi ka hello.
chase him down.
Sap trong man te mo he pa le pa thau do kha to kha. An hemi te luk hi ka hello am guessing he ngai thlan non chon vai trong ka sa chon ocean ka du per boka. Kang ngai thlan he ma ka en nem sim bok mo tiang ho hi an guessing ti te vai trong te mi so sap trong te.
But FaZe, I think they did a pretty
It's an hi kan ngai lua India rama it's an M2 te hi kan om vek lo lom
It will be N Hyper who really does suffer the
was party
consequences.
channel velet le yang lo mala cái đi sutia cái en pa vel mai zel lo ma po han was party wangin te khamin lo tian ni mai lo ap ma se thil zong ro soi chi chu avani chuang lo tam mo guys
been a little bit less uncontested in terms of fighting for common drop spots. They've been willing to actually mold themselves into less common drops or work around some of our other teams. That's something that we are now seeing from them, which was quite uncharacteristic of what they were doing game in, game out, at least back during the regulation part of the group stage with the full group green. So shows at least some smart adjustments for them there. FS did at least get away. He's been able to run down and avoid Quest's onslaught. Yeah. But what have you really got left, man? The entire team off the back of that was basically split in half, right? Like, sure, they're still alive, but you're down to just two with low HP and not really much to work with in terms of the early...
La 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 la.
Clean, so rough start for them, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't even think FS even knows where he's going at this point in time. Sends up towards Zaki, of all places. Enigma Galaxy make their way in towards Rozok. I think this is a bit of a lion's den that you don't really want to get into too early on. Easy gets taken down by FaZe, who pick themselves up yet another point on the match here. Quest tries to come in for a little bit of retribution. Al Haji spots out, but Onden's very ready for the same peak again. Doesn't try to go for anything fancy here, and Quest realizes it's probably just a good idea to bail out this one. Gladiators up towards the northern edge of Georgia Pod, still looting. They've got a lot of time ahead of them to make this one happen. A lot of teams...
Under pod dang red sack. Zong zong say chill. Miso at zong BGS official case of survey. Miso can do. Oh.
The infighting that has happened between...
Zong Loki more than you can. Yang zong in sarcastic there on the top. I'm more than she more than so it's some check out do it. I'm saying. Quam na can link do zero. Cause some fellow major start a lot treat and say, "Ew." Look share. I was going to do it. Ah. Bây giờ solo just have a little so the only hot lane guys. Nilovi.
Does go fast on the chase.
Mizo mình ti chat em kha. Mu nom em kha. Cái pon cái en char lom BJS kha chu.
Here in the Mad Balls territory, so give up the fight on that one. We get a cameo from
click, click.
Job of finding themselves 4 vehicles to work with.
And
now going to be a bit of an easier piece of the puzzle for them. And they're also heading over towards Rozok, so you do have a potential here where you're going to have quite a few close grouped squads actually, especially with Nassar pushing further down. They might actually get a bit of a read on this one.
Sapo dia an ke timang hang ho an kes tam tak ai hian kha solti te kes khang nom zok ngai thang nom zok dei ni
the left you can see Rosemary as well starting to inflict some damage towards FaZe. That's another hot spot in terms of the heat map there. Gladiators towards the top, just above Quest that seem to be edging closer towards FaZe after hearing the dinner bell being rung.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of teams that had a lot of these engagements happening earlier, right, Jackie? And they decided that, you know, they're not going to move across the bridges. They're going to get stuck in over towards this ridge side on the western edge. And I think that has made for a very interesting western side of the circle with...
So it does oh, but all guys can cheer chun some lang comment ka lock low one. Lock hello.
Couple of pot shots. Luther looks over towards Tunica. Will find the initial shot on the DBS. Backing off just slightly. Now looking for Zerich, who is holding his own as best as
I can't hear no voice. BGS top 3 have global tourney sang khan khel do ran team mutia han soi zau de ke chu ka sia dan chuan pakhat na ba in an khel ka ring lo oh
fragmented from the rest of the squad peeks out through the smoke
ina hey
the nade line up on that as well. Couple seconds slower on the getaway and he could have been
that's a
nade would have absolutely ruined him. Luckily Mad Balls will still hold on with just one man frozen. The ice cold assassin that had to let it go on that one as he'll back off and come into a better angle. Meanwhile Lord puts some bullets down range as well, just keeping the pressure on. So rejects in the thick of it now with players surrounding them from most angles here. Coops does fall back after at least playing his initial card, going to the compound to play off his team.
Yeah, it's actually a really strong spot that Reject's able to pick themselves up.
So team list en natura next G official Instagram kan next G official tia kan cái John BJ sắp bắt na kha te kha Indian represent le do ya to Indian slot khat ai taman nei mi PMGC hian an nei om ka hemi lo guys kala chiang mi lo hei boksa alsa zong song in no a chu ti ang ka du lo sati sa ka e vak lo thau hi pani thumvel ta ka e a chuan a ko chu hi ka du le ma boksa sa hi chu ti fucking e tam lo chom mai cho hi e tam ve da wa no khat ta li chu e ve da se ha an spek hi chang ka do ka en thiam lo trap cheng keng ta ka ni mo soi ta cho BJ su thu ran ni se ma ni le ni ma dai ke so chu ka lo wi ga to wa a pa the za kan dama kum to pa mo ni thum chu min mu do lo min ne roi meng et si ngay đã trâu kera ô đã trâu hai đó là đi in boom na tel mi al BGS si thadau ka lei du guys glacier max the ek glacier le motor skin om na ka du face to face le to in na nei chon lo do lai zo lai sambara kan lo hong don 3M Jaguar sa ina mo live na khan I rin ngam tla rin tlak tuna sponsor tu hi I anron post dona khata khan I biak theina number te ron om vek dona I lo be doni o ta khan a lei nga mani lo lei nge doni lo dor nge doni chuan I dor khan next year tang ka lo hria a lo ti la lo dor nge doni
Reject Tokyo still looking like they've got confidence as well. They've got a good setup in terms of the position, but they haven't really cascaded back.
Sar comment ve det lem ta ling ka shelo ve se global lam hi chu han comment em wa ngai na bo hello kai pon hei hemia tu na khela in DXC ka hriat thin ya Lamborghini oma chuan hei PGE ti ha hian lakzi te won om ta tu na khelo cha inko ho hi Brazil ho hi ang la Enigma Galaxy hi ani le dewa chu til tuin hemi hi chu survival stage ani mo an mani poi ka shalu tuk lo
has been going on in the background. The only actual squad wipe we've seen though was Quest.
Yeah, it's been sort of a difficult game for a lot of teams where they've just been taking a couple of fights here and there, trying to escape from it, and you can tell that's kind of the survival stage mentality of a lot of these teams, that you start to lose an engagement, right, that's it, we'll just leave.
Ani trong global championship nge pro series India tan and represent don angem zia PMGC hi mo kumda nga po khan slot khat ama khan kha god like an kal kha slot khat chin changa slot khat item hi chu an eng lo ring lo face siamo ai selo mo sia e face ka sia tom chun to ni ke chuak to a ka so mzia ni chu ei players va sia em ka nei lo heavy khela hian ti na zo face clan ti social to ka YouTube pa subscribe ta ka lo ma se PUBG lo lam clear ka sia face member hi chu hey face rock te mo ka en vek zel tinga next lam hi ti don lo mi ti don ne ma se zain chuan la ti lawang zain chuan la all don kala ka han relax dap char char phodang ama we ju san khelem zain a hian we ju lady san khel don we ju luna skin ka ya ne pg gala so karim phalla the ringo khelam forum vin tel lo mi forum vin qualify to hi ju survival well cut ang deuh khani ber chu ka hre thiam dana chuan mo hei an tu na kheli Gandarain thlau tu kami lo hre thiam la ka phone number ka lo danga asian zong how chu en thei angem ngoro live a hian Instagram link ka lo danga lo va bedoni o next year tang lo hria a lo ti le sam
does still stay alive with his hands firmly on the wheel, so he's happy to at least be breathing on this one.
Link kan da lawang karon da lawang
as well, with even a slight push there, just looking for a read themselves, so assessing what exactly was going on ahead of them.
Live don nang man zain chu live don lo
Looking to try and make their move over the bridge at some point here with the zone in and actually setting itself up in a relatively
for an khel don lo ka hello la kha ka kon fa an khel ni pon slot khan ba kan nei ka ring lo ti na ni chu
sending the vehicle in with Kishi just driving his way through straight away. We'll put a pin in that though.
SC ho yan tla an thai tiam thai SC te chu IC te ho te mu nom ka ti SC chu main ST zong mo tiam lo in la chang tang fa li le ni chu min khum don ni o boy thak to thi comment section này phù hi chu har đâu mấy nia guys forum vi ka tan ka ba tun dim na forum vi hi kam ke ma ka on đâu ber
I don't know how that just occurred, but with the DBS, that guy is absolutely kingly, and I think that's going to bring Gladiators back down to earth once again. Maybe one or two more good games for them to see them feeling a little bit safer into the lobby at the end of the day. 59 points.
Mi pa ni ve voi khat pian ve mana Rosemary han ni đâu top mày chu Rosemary mi pa ni ve voi khat pian ve mana uluk to ga phua chu ni ve al se Rosemary han ni đâu top mày chu va pa to team em
already up to 30 points on their first day. It's good to see.
Em là chu lay thing man lo.
Big game. Even if they go out now, you've still been able to achieve a lot in terms of.
Đi cái em khel pha ve ngam le ga phải le. Sorry why there is pa zo permanent chat dinami. Yes.
This isn't the end of their run. They'll still have tomorrow to come back out swinging up against Group Yellow and see what they can do there.
Cặp thật về 1HP chuan nhau to han.
Frozen.
Yang boy po active yo thina re vang vang à.
Thinking maybe there was chance for a fight there. We'll join that again though once things kick off. For now you've got the rotate on screens.
Mo ta kha chuan kan in da man sin le hey FPP mo tan da le to FPP mo yo han wo pa ko
wants them to pay the toll. He is trying to defend this, it seems. DBS in the hands.
Hey, DBS ani wa hen ding tang ti na hi ni lo. Oh, hey shit to. Hostela sana. So ning man me next to live do Zain to live do lo. Oh guys, Zain to live do lo. Hey, tonight hang on live zoi me.
Had a read on the hill, but don't aggress down.
Young boy hi ka mu thin lo. Comment section midang live min soi chia ka pura ni o. India Korea invitation ha India chu ben rei do ma se kan lo nep lo zia lang ti ve tiangot lo BGI lo BGMI ani khan khel Korea thau khan sensi dang don yo hey PMGC apong ating khel tha thailo kan ti cha ai a class tu a nice a one nice big class amoy lutuk boy pui. Come on, class lang thai don em in hill man. Teammate team pui ti ro. Class lang chun tum le me 1 HP nya ala in hill du chong lo mala. Class kha ti swal ta du am chu cha na dik tak chu ni kha cho lu tuk.
As it ricochets off of the wall and takes the man down. Both of them playing medic, looking to get the reses in and reset.
India ina enge BGMI lo global kan kheling kan buayang deuh kha ni mai ka soi thiam dana chama.
The situation star comes sprinting in and this
Ain anglawa sensitivity zong song te hi.
There's no point did it occur to Spec to just use the first aid kit in his inventory at all. Like, what was he doing jumping down with 10 HP? It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
1v3 so 1v3 let de men yo hey na bet hian
from NASA. A total misplay in my opinion from what was an incredible open
hi that do mo ka tia. Come on 1v4 come on. Teammate tha sak vek to 1v4 na cha nei. Non tha sak de.
There was more than enough time and chance to use it. Just the aggression there was a little bit silly.
Versus Meselo dikit tu ngajo du am ve ma ne.
Currently up to 34 points, 37 if you add the eliminations on. And I think you know what, they've had a decent day today. They've been really trying to hit those numbers where they can. They understand that time is wearing thin for them too.
And the gap between DX is closing as well. Similar sort of
I just saw game rotation so pona sila ka ngol chu thu sana lo da tai la eng de zong in
look to command respect here in the combat.
Hole
the bicep man hits the
first. Bol gini te pon chan laksi te pon zo chu ni de de ya. Laksi lo. Come on 1v4 class 10. Nice! Awahan moi kha nei kha chu 1v2 nei moi tu.
Save face. Nades thrown in. Nice tag.
Come on, the class thai ti ka ria pa at lu le dia.
He could clean out the building here, Blank, if he can find his way in. Nice nade to at least the fence.
Ai laksi na chance khal tu ka lau don.
Blocks the pathing and the eye line. Could be exposed to Coops and Co from the back.
Nei te mo la nei se awan class moi don em.
That was definitely a deluxe grenade if I've ever seen one. Nade over the top from Regiosio.
Class
actually just airburst a bit too early there for him. to send another one over the top. Has a general idea of where he is.
Will
finish it off, and Pazija Evos goes
down.
Now remember, this is the position where Pazija Evos won the game from last match, and I think for Reject they understand that. They're like, look, we'll take it off your hands, no problem. Quick push in, picks up a lot of eliminations off the back of some really nice shots with the DBS, and that's confidence we wanted to see from Reject a lot earlier on. For Udo Alliance, it's starting to get a bit better for them. Each and every single game, you know, their averages are averages, but
hầu tết nó zor lu ta tổ bà cho mình dâu in gắn phang bia lâu hi
it's a promising start for Udo
nó
Alliance.
xung quanh ngại em hi nó xuống chuột.
They've not been looking too bad in some of the fights they've been able to find themselves in today. We've seen some smart decision making, even at least keeping games going when they're low in terms of stock, low in terms of manpower. So Udo Alliance, pretty good job of at least being a thorn on the side of some other teams. What can they get done here though? In potentially a position where, you know, there is a chance you could chalk this one up as a W, as a chicken dinner, if you play your cards correctly. Frozen still just trying to keep his attention drawn in the direction of Reject Tokyo. Rejects that are now getting themselves situated inside of the vehicles, driving seats at the ready, and start to set their focus on the new zone. Everyone's going to want to move their way further forward now. Udo Alliance have a good spread of it as well. They'll have nice control to work off of. Meanwhile, MBE, Sec on the snipe with a Mini 14, firing off the warning shots, makes his presence known, but no actual connection. And he has given across the Udo as well of his position now.
DX thi lệ to ba Nigma Galaxy te an va han che to tak
5 eliminations found so far on this map. Could you go even a little bit further? Talking about before Sec on that Mini 14, hitting some nice shots. Bete in the meantime takes his chances on the rotate while everyone is a little bit distracted. Will be able to get himself to fairly defensible position as well over on this side. MBE Sports off in the distance, very close to him. Udo Alliance is trying to take him down, but once again, we see Udo Alliance in this situation where they potentially can take the chicken dinner on this game. They came second on that last match. So far, some very nice little averages on our angle.
RC jo an chicken cho nó thằng tang aron up tang
Good initial grenade.
cả thel na sal tu kup sakhan
They just swoop in like an aggressive seagull at
What
the
the
ball,
cheve?
just wanting to steal away the set of chips.
anti kum ngai kha talo global orange rock champion te uzi ha mi thal le chen talo wi khom ka semi alo
Good spread for it, good setup in terms of the positioning to
toilet.
maybe get a few shots off here.
phalo let mai ke zone
Tokyo. And they're the ones that want a gun for the longevity on this. Both squads with 4 players alive. For Mapples, it is just Frozen. And keep in mind, Frozen's team, they were picked off by Rejects quite some time ago. He was hoping to get revenge, but he'll find nothing for his troubles as you do connect onto him, and they dispatch the balls. Seeing red now as we fall to our final 3 squads. Look at the damage being inflicted here as well, Blank. Softening them up now. Confidence is there. This could be where they start to rev their engines for the dive.
Yeah, looking to move in towards it, and I like this spread coming through from Udo Alliance. So aggressive. The distance, though, Sara is able to pick up one from MBE Sports. They have to immediately get on that res there if they want to get something done off the back of it. They might just send in over towards MBE Sports as well, claim a little bit more space. Cluck also getting involved, realizing that MBE Sports looks a little bit weakened off the back of that one. Olio with this position on top of the rooftops is so unbelievably strong, though. Jackie gives them so much advantage coming into the future. Reject were able to get a little bit further around, but more and more shots keep pouring over their way. MBE Sports with Mondo up front with 1 nade left remaining, but fully kitted out here with the MG3.
Quick looting, quick reset, shuffling. Everyone waiting for the right strike, the right moment to stick themselves into the action. The aggression works well for the first connection. Bullets downrange onto MBE, at least coiling their numbers.
Lia chu low cap lu pep be sir raties yu hai team secret da online nge tu nai han try ti zo ka so yang chomo globally kan en tam lo me hei hian a tip peng lo ve do ni ka saber
looking so powerful. Every time there's a peak, they have the geometry to defend themselves whilst dealing damage. They've got set up so if there is contact, someone else can help out as well. They could play for trades pretty efficiently from this, and all they've got to do is hold. Everyone else sitting on the edge of the rim as well, not wanting to push in yet. The zone will be the only part that could potentially throw a spanner in the works for them. But with how they're playing
full squad in Ladama zone luôn tum ya
pretty
dong
much this was one of the circles that Reject likely was hoping for as well, because Olio on this spot had to be pushed out of it before stage 8. Realistically, this is a very early way to end the game.
was party do baka pa ha de tom ha rom so pa o tsm zone da ron in vor chau tan tit lai wel khan ya tsm zone than my name ani kho
as well as Sarah.
OP
More. Does a system. Getting Olio off from that rooftop gives them a much more even chance here, much more even footing. The fact that he's able to provide so much information all the time towards the rest of his teammates is causing so much problems. He's finally off it now, and Reject might be starting to think about when they want to move off towards the rest of their squad.
Asial to sin hay damage dong ho timang nun na full cho sen ang ina lang ta full lo hi purple in and update version global nge
few pot shots back over. That's Reginocio is just taking the peek from behind the tree, hoping that he can, if not deal damage, at least start to dent the confidence. So you do Alliance can't peek into this so easily. They've still got such a good setup though, and this could be absolutely fantastic. They thought they had the lineup with an aid. No real response.
Tunge ini kan siania la watch party to so. Oh, boy thak to thina o Sonic ka ni hi. Anh này lùm đó đâu. Lùm van môi tok em ha so. 4v4 lệ ta. First match sang đâu. Oh, 4v3 chun zong.
Yeah, 3v4 now, and I think for you do Alliance, honestly, when you're in that situation and you are ME Sports, you just have to hope that he only.
Anh vắt khel tharo về mi te hi tu te ngai yao. Tiếng open field better la smoke a han vom khat i mu nam sa quarter-final so engza team nge qualify don I chun next G account na khan roadmap eng kim om vek o guys qualify turza zong nen khan bây giờ champion po global an han khel chiang an boy ru reu veo lo mo an boy zia lo kha got like po eng man vani thai lo kha global an va khela PMGC chicken reject chun chicken karin te ran tho chiang ve mi dem va khel thar ve turan game khel kha moi lut tu yo so jang sam moi lo ni a OP ka ti lo OP ka ni hi em po ni sa guys kha ti khan zanin an live na tur chu kan 745 IDP an da do na an live tran vat do na I keral te le chante ke ti a khan an thola chante ke ti a group A ni a keral te a group B ho in an khel do na ti chuan match nga lai ni do na a mu nom tham do ti kha threila thayang tokin no support ila mo ke sarte an lo la thiam tok lowa tha ga lo ti tok lo ni point in support to na point mo ti kha kan soi thar le ni se tun tan chuan in zawain choi tui an ti photanga kai pot ka ron ke stan vat ka tumang o ka ron lang vatang arei to lawang hai kan dam chho to ka sia chho zel to boka rei lo te ka ron live ve vat do ni o tun tan chuan vain choi tui kan bye ve le ngot thira ka ku thi ka ve le thira ka face cam on mo ka ti o bye u choi tui vek u le cái ending thari kan da ve re
mà sẽ hay hi lâu ngái là cái ta looking for your baby girl. Isok melan so lady some see kan may teo lawan vang si ka du chun hey chu ka ro bi ga min chu su bei do na ngai ni po ing ka lu lul ting ka du fa da rei lo si kan ful chu lon liam na tham ko ping ke hi ka chuang chin man mo ngai ma sai tuan tam si ma ka so ve shet shet ti ka shira vang in ni telin ni ku ma tam ka thang in ka muang si let's game no po wi to na ka luang le ma feng sing e teo lo wa to le ka full here lung hi du ma tin na chat na chuang lem ka hel ring mei do na sin kum tuan hian om nem ni ma se thin lung wa sak khak khal an ti pon na nem lai anal tin an nal lai khu khang ka du so khu say love like I fell for you Jonathan means I'm on the right track looking for your baby girl. It's a plain and so lady and some see girl I've been looking for you. Girl I've been looking for you. Girl I've been looking for you. Yeah. sẽ đâm xuống nông sắc đá chu lúc ấy đã tu đã ôm lâu với sắc chia bát đi tu nay đâu lâu và nang elia mà sẽ ta đi nào sai rồi lâu nhưng mà lang ai đánh sẽ go I think I fell for you Jonathan means I'm on the right track looking for your baby girl It's a plain so lady and some see girl I've been looking for you Girl I've been looking for you Girl I've been looking for you